7. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get this underway. It will be Wicked Cossack versus Risi123 for the round of 16. This is one of the later matches to be played in the round of 16, and whoever wins this game will move through into perhaps, well, their final game of the qualifiers, because this next round after this one, it will be best of 7s, and it will be a qualification round for the upper bracket. So both players fighting to go into that next match where they might be able to qualify. If they lose, it's okay, though, because, well, it's not okay, I guess, but it is still possible to qualify through the lower bracket. But let's start with Risi. Here he is in the top of the map in the color red, playing as the Aztecs. It is on Florida. Therefore, we start with a market, and that means your coin crates are actually more like wood crates, or really any crate, because you can buy things at the market with them. So I like this map. It sort of balances out the crate starts in a way. It's a very sort of balanced map, and it's a very standard map too, which we like. It's got 4 trading posts, but the interesting thing about those is the ones closest to you, your opponent can't build since they're within the town center radius of, where you can't build, most of the time, that is. And I think on this map it will be the case here. But the game has now started. The villagers are moving around. GLHF says Wicked Cossack. That's absolutely right. Here he, looks like Risi does have a 20 wood treasure in base, which could be helpful if he wants to get hunting dogs or something like that, but going to forego that for the time being. Head out straight into the middle of the map there, because there are indeed on this map lots of sheep, which looks like he's going to come across there. Wicked Cossack, here he is playing as India, his signature civilization, Kaiser. We often see India from Wicked Cossack. This is something we know he's very good at, that he's written guides for, and he's going to open with it in this series.
Yeah, he did write quite a popular guide on ESOC. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's actually the one post on ESOC community that got the most likes ever. His Indian starter pack guide, or whatever it was called. Yeah, so yeah, right. Definitely a very comfortable seat for Wicked Cossack here. Well, against Aztecs, which is probably considered to be quite India favored nowadays. So well, it would be for sure very nice for Risi if he could take that game. But I think we'll have to be favoring Wicked Cossack in this matchup. We'll see though how they can play it out. Especially on this map, you do get the livestock, which is very nice for India.
Oh, look at that pick up there.
Yeah, right. Gonna steal one. So although he's scouting on the left side of the map, which does not have any sheep, so I'm not sure that's ideal from India there. Maybe he wants to spot the treasures, but I feel like you should maybe first get the livestock.
He picks up another one as well. Oh. Yeah, I mean, scouting pattern or not, he's doing quite well for sheep. He's got 4 sheep. In fact, Risi has no sheep. It looks like Cossack's stolen all of the sheep here, though he will get one back. There's one he's just converted, and it looks like he is going to find the other one, which is going off in that left direction. Cossack not babysitting the sheep home. He's just sort of sending them home, and maybe that's fine. It keeps both of his elephants out on the map to steal treasures, and that's probably a good risk assessment, I think. It's probably, you might lose some sheep trying to get them home, but at least you're able to contest treasures, go for treasures, and maybe even steal treasures as well. But in terms of sheep, it's now actually quite even. 3 sheep for Wicked Cossack, 2 for Risi. So scouting or not, Cossack did get some sheep, and he has, of course, actually 1 in the back of his base still to get a bit later on. But if we take a look at the treasures, Cossack really doing quite well for treasures. 40 coin, 75 wood, 40 food, 20 wood, and now another 40 coin, hoovering up all these sort of small treasures, and Risi sort of not doing... Oh, having said that, though, that's a big one. That's a big juicy one. 120 coin there. Going to be quite pleased with that.
Yeah, and he did get an 80 wood, which is not as good as all the treasures India got, but at least it means that he was able to get his hunting dogs without chopping anything, because it was a coin start and he got that 80 wood. So that's definitely still nice for Aztecs. What about India? What did he get in H1? He did get the
75 wood as well.
Eagles. Yeah, I meant regarding market upgrades, because you could see India even getting the civil servant upgrade, like the 5% and all resources for India. Like some people actually discussed that. It's kind of slow, though, but a possibility on this map.
Here we go, though. 2 forward villagers from Risi. He's not gone for civil servants, and that's probably because Aztec, right? They age very, very quickly. He's already in age 2. He went up with the messenger and has sent 2 forward villagers to drop down a war hut right next to his opponent, as close as he can get to it, on top of this hunt, nearby this mine as well, and sort of in the middle of the map, going to give him plenty of map control there. Looks like Cossack, he's not gone with that sort of 10-10 to get up on time. Instead, he's been training villagers. He's training some during transition as well, of course, but is going to go for that in-base aggro fort and going to keep it well within range of that town centre. So any idle, villagers inside the town centre can, of course, defend the aggro fort here. But the monks and the Aztec going to go for a bit of a fight there. He's taken out both the treasure guardians and has stunned some of them with his special ability. But yeah, look at that. He's managed to get the low HP elephant away. Really nice there. Keeping it in the fight as long as he can, but getting it away with enough time so it doesn't die and give your opponent any sort of XP. And going to do the same with the second one here. Going to try and use the other elephant to pull it. Can he get away? Can he use the pull trick? Can he use it? Oh. He did! Oh my goodness! He pulled the elephant away. Brilliant. And he's going to keep them both alive.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of risky, but now it's going to be nice because it's even going to bait Aztec into coming in his base, and now he's got the aggro fort firing as well as 2 sepoys. One thing I wanted to say though that we didn't see about the age 1 is that Wicked Cossack did buy 100 wood thanks to his market and the coin start, as well as a 40 coin treasure. I just thought it's kind of relevant because it just helped him age up quite a bit faster. It's kind of like a wood start for India then, which is obviously very nice.
Yeah, that's true. Florida's just a really nice map in general to play on. It sort of irons out all those kinks and curves because that market start is just really, really helpful, isn't it? But thank you, Where Are My Dragoons, coming in with the Prime subscription for 3 months. Cheers for that. Looks like, though, he's going to grab 100 XP with these 4 Coyote runners. Just going to bring them in there whilst he picks that up. But this is very aggressive from Risi. We're seeing 700 wood first, which he's trained some Coyote runners with, and it looks like we've got 10 Mace Halton coming out as well. Looks like, though, Cossack is kind of walled up. He's made sure to get that around the aggro fort there to sort of defend it, make it hard to be sieged down, but that's a lot of units coming in for Aztec. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and Risi did not directly go in. Like, he was kind of walking around with his pumas and stuff, and I feel like it's already kind of well, we'll see what Aztec can do here, but it's a little bit late to start rushing India, especially with the wall as well. It's now 6 minutes 10. That's almost 1 minute later than you would expect an Aztec pressure here. However, he does have a lot of siege potential thanks to these Puma Spearmen, so he might be able to get the aggro down.
Yeah, the stomp coming in.
Wicked has on the way. Wicked Cossack did go for the wood trickle, which is kind of greedy here, so he might get punished for that. Gonna call Minutemen.
Can he hold this, though? Looks like that villager that came out for free with his shipment. Well, I think it was actually trained. It didn't die, so that's good. But lost, quite a few of his units here. The aggro fort very low on HP, and lots of siege units in the back there. Does focus down the Aztec war chief there, so at least he's not going to get double XP. That's really important because the aggro fort is going to give so much XP to India when it dies, and that would only be doubled by the Aztec war chief. So really nice there from Cossack to focus that down and deny that XP. He has lost the aggro fort, but he's still, I think, more Pumas right. God, this just Puma's funneling in so much siege, and there's no barracks up yet for now that the aggro fort is down. There's no military production for Wicked Cossack,
and a 6 Puma Spearmen as well. So Wicked needs to really very quickly.
Oh my goodness, this is so many villages. This is really not good. Look at them; they're all going to go down. There's like 6 of them there. Oh my! And look at the Pumas on the back there. He's going to get every single one of these. Minutemen being
there is the Ottoman consulate, though. There is no military building, that's true, but he does have the Ottoman consulate, so he can call the Minutemen, and quite soon, if he stops idling his villagers, he will be able to get the hussars. But right now, he's not getting any extra export. So.
Forsawa's coming around the back there. The Puma Spearmen, he's been doing a good job of focusing them down, but there's still a lot of them there. They do get to kill a couple of Mace Halton, but now they're going to have to run away. They aren't snared, though, but now these are useless. They have to stay away from the Puma, and they have so much siege. The Puma don't really care. They're doing so much damage. They're destroying houses. They're destroying everything. 5 Coyotes coming in to top this off. Units streaming into the base from Risi, and Cossack's going to be popped in a moment. He's only got 2 population, and if this house goes down, he's going to be completely popped. Look at this, trying to keep the siege units off the house just by baiting them in, but fruitless. The house does go down in the end.
Yeah, and, well, I don't know how much pop space he needs, because he's not retraining anything right now, but he definitely needs... His biggest problem right now that WickedCossack is not gathering any resources. Like, well, he has one villager that can maybe gather gold, but nothing else, so, I don't know, like, he really needs to get to stabilize and start gathering resources to train units, because he can't just keep, like, just TC firing like that, because... How many? 19 bills idle in that town center.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised about the wood tricker, really. I think 300 export first is okay because you can get your Minutemen out, but with the wood tricker you just get nothing early on.
Yeah, and
I mean like... the Ottoman Minutemen, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see, like, with that wood trickle, it's sort of gotten him into this position, perhaps, as well. He is trying his best with those Sawa. He's just, being very active with them, and he's doing a good job of focusing down the Puma Spearmen in fact, there's none left here, too, because they have the most siege. You want to kill them first and stop this TC from going down. But the Coyotes, there's still quite a lot of them, and there's just so many units here. I'm just really not... I think it's going to be very difficult to save that town centre. And okay,
5 sepoy.
5 sepoy, and the village is coming out as well.
It could be good. Like, he might be able to clean this up, and then he could be in a decent position.
Yeah, I think he's got this.
I think he does clean it up.
Yeah, with the villagers' help, though, so he's going to lose a couple of villagers for this. The Sepoy in hand combat, they're good against the Coyotes. Focus down all the Puma, which is really good, but now there's a couple of Puma left. They're coming back in.
He actually hasn't lost any villager there, but yeah, the 5 Pumas could just be enough to take the TC down. They have so much siege each. One volley of 5 Pumas is almost 250 siege. So,
but he's keeping them busy. Look, the Pumas aren't sieging just yet. Villagers coming out. He's going to need to punch down the Puma with the villagers there, which is what he's doing. He's bringing them in. Yeah, but he's going to be able to clean this up.
Aztec's gonna keep bringing some Pumas in, so it's gonna be... Wicked kind of needs to repair his town center and maybe rebuild the wall and try to get, like, just a few units out as soon as possible just to deny the Pumas from just coming in his base. So now he's just sending bills and food because he also was not able to herd anything all that time, so now he has to walk to his hunt. Thankfully, it's not too far from his town center. And now he might be able to start training Walkers or Sepoy or really whatever just to defend his TC.
Yeah.
So that's...
What a game so far! Kaiser, look at the recalculated economic unit population. It's actually very even despite all of that. And look, there's a couple of units now streaming in. They're looking to kill off the villagers. They're aiming for the Sepoy first, though, but they're not going to be able to do too much damage. Just 2 Puma there, but these Mace Halton are going to make it very difficult for the villagers to gather. They're forced off the food, though they will find some trees in the back to gather from. So as long as he is gathering... Oh no, more Puma coming into the base.
Why is he not right-clicking the TC, though? It's still 1k3 HP. It goes down in like 5 Puma swings or something. Like, look, he just sieged down 800 HP on a house, right? Yeah. So why could he not just siege down the TC? He's going for it now, though, so we'll have to see. And now their Sepoy is coming, so actually
okay.
House
can he defend the town center? It's got 400 HP. Come on, is he just gonna go for it?
Go down.
I think he's just funneling them all onto. It does go down 400 XP as well because of the double bonus from. Oh, that's a really big deal, but. Oh, and he's now ahead on villagers as well. Behind this, Risi realizes the rush has been successful, and now it's time to switch gear. He's destroyed the town center, and he's going to send 5 villagers. So as a result, we see 37 to 33. So the Aztec player is in a good spot now. He's killed the town center. He's ahead on villagers, and he's got a bigger military as well. Cossack, though, is going to rebuild the town center ASAP, but it's costly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's... I want to say this game is over, honestly. I don't see what India can do here. It's gonna take so long for him to rebuild his town center, get the pop space, and just start remassing units, while Aztec already has a bunch of, well, Pumas. They're not exactly the greatest unit, but still, he has a bunch of military and a lot of siege potential. Yeah. Like, if he finds a TC right now, he can just get it down again, probably. And Cossack just gonna be calling the GTA because it's just
oh my goodness.
over. That was wow. I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that. How come then Cossack decided to stay H1 for so long? Do you think he ought to have done the 10-10 like we saw yesterday with Maito playing in this very same matchup? Because Aztec are just so fast, aren't they? Because of that messenger politician, and they have so much sort of siege and aggro potential. But Cossack, he sort of stayed H1 for quite a long time, and then on top of that, sent the foreign logging as well.
I don't think you have to go for a 10-10. It's probably an option. Maito did it because he had a wood start, and this was a coin start. Although, like I said, he could have been he did buy wood, so he could have done the same, I guess. But maybe just wanted to use the market to get that food upgrade and that kind of stuff. Maybe not a fan of going all in on 10-10. However, he did not even age up too late. I mean, he aged up at 4 minutes 40, which is very okay for India. It's not late or something. The problem was really the wood trickle first, to be honest, was just like, you just get nothing out of shipping that just then, you know? It's like shipping a villager shipment, but like when you're getting hard rushed and when you're already India, and India is rather slow. So I don't know why you would ship villagers there. He needed just 300 export or some unit shipment or something, I guess, or colonial militia, whatever, anything to just defend that pressure.
You think that the foreign logging may be a little bit greedy, perhaps, and as a result, just sort of this sort of the rush got to him. But that is game number one. Pardon me, I've given the score to the wrong player. It was actually to Risi. That's a game to Risi, already ahead in the series from the beginning. Bear in mind, Cossack is the sort of preferred winner, so to speak, the player people are expecting to win. So I'm going to keep an eye on the betting for this series. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. But let's take a look at the highlights from that game, and we'll get into game number two in just a moment.
Yeah, but it's a little bit late to start rushing India, especially with the wall as well. It's now 6 minutes 10. That's almost 1 minute later than you would expect an Aztec pressure here. However, he does have a lot of siege potential thanks to these Puma Spearmen, so he might be able to get the aggro down.
Yeah, the stomp coming in.
Wicked has on the way. Wicked Cossack did go for the wood trickle, which is kind of greedy here, so he might get punished for that. Gonna call Minutemen.
Can he hold this though? Looks like that villager that came out for free with his shipment. Or I think it was actually trained. It didn't die, so that's good. But lost, quite a few of his units here. The aggro fort very low on HP, and lots of siege units in the back there. Does focus down the Aztec war chief there, so at least he's not going to get double XP. That's really important because the aggro fort is going to give so much XP to India when it dies, and that would only be doubled.
Extra exports.
Corsair was coming around the back there. The Puma Spearmen, he's been doing a good job of focusing them down, but there's still a lot of them there. They do get to kill a couple of Mace Holton, but now they're going to have to run away. They aren't snared, though, but now these are useless. They have to stay away from the Puma, and they have so much siege. The Puma don't really care. They're doing so much damage. They're destroying houses. They're destroying everything. 5 Coyotes coming in to top this off. Units streaming into the base from Risi, and Cossack's going to be popped in a moment. He's only got 2 population, and if this house goes down, he's going to be completely popped. And just because that game, I think like 80% of people voted for Wicked Cossack to win. So already the betting's shaping up to be quite interesting. But can those two people keep it going? They scored a lot of points, but will they keep it up in the betting series? We will have to see. But yes, Risi was victorious with the Aztecs. He can no longer use it. But Wicked Cossack, he didn't win with India yet. And India is his best civilization, so can still play India. And that is good because he's obviously very strong with India and probably hoping to use it. So not as punishing this particular tournament format. If you don't win, you can still continue using the civilization. But yes, Kamchatka will be our next map. And by the looks of it, it will be Russia versus India. Risi's put in Russia. Russia is now locked. He cannot change that. Wicked Cossack now gets to pick afterwards. So we will see what he decides to go. Perhaps he'll stay as India. As I said, it's a strong civ for him, but we'll see if he changes. He certainly has that option too. And what do you think, Kaiser?
Well, I mean, of course he might change, but I don't think he will just because that's a very good matchup for India, especially on another map with some livestock again and some pretty decent treasures. Well, he just needs to not be overconfident again. I was thinking about that game one, and I felt like maybe Wiki just felt a little bit too safe with that wall, you know. And actually, gonna go Germany. Well, that's definitely a very strong pick against Russia as well.
Yeah, and I think
So yeah,
Cossacks. Actually, I've seen him play quite a lot of German, so I think he'll be just fine here. And you're saying this is a good matchup.
yeah, that's a very good matchup for Germany. It kind of depends on which start you get, because if you get a wood start and you go for trading post, it's even easier for Germany. But even on a regular start, it's just Russia has a really hard time pressuring because of the free Ulans early on. And then usually Germany is just able to age kind of easily. And then you get war wagons, and these war wagons outrange every single Russian unit. So it's very hard for Russia to do anything about it. And even if Germany decides to stay colonial because they feel like they can't afford to age up, they also have very strong colonial timings, and it's not that easy for Russia to deal with a decent mass of double soldiers. So
looking
it's gonna be interesting. Then again, I think WickedCossack is kind of new to Germany. I don't remember seeing him play so long ago.
I remember he was sort of playing Germany against me. There was a period of time where he was sort of coaching me, and he was playing a lot of Germany. I think trying to get me used to defending Ulan raids, or just raids in general, because you're having all the muskets or cavs split up, so that kind of thing, so that you can defend it. I know he can play Germany, but I won't green in just yet. I just want to check something before we do, but I am interested to see this. Just a moment.
I think you
sure.
him up, but
Okay, I'm back. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully now Kaiser's too loud. Okay, it will be fixed now. As you're hearing this, Kaiser is now fixed. If he's not fixed, Escape AoE will tell me in the chat, and I can turn him down even more. It's very easy to do. But ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into game number 2 in this best of 5 series between Risi and WickedCossack. The score is currently 1-0, as you can see, to Risi. Perhaps another upset. Risi knocked out Taben. Will he knock out WickedCossack? It's looking like a good start, perhaps. 1-0. Let's start with the previous victor. He would be playing as Russia. Here we are. Russia in the color red. Starting with food, 100 wood, and 100 coin. So it will be that coin start. Risi going to pause the game here. Ah, yes.
Does it need to be recorded, or?
Okay.
Yeah, so WickedCossack just mentioning the same thing I was talking about, like the wood start. He's saying, "Yeah, I didn't have a wood start.
Yeah,
I don't mind."
He's like, "I don't mind." That was about to be my next point. 100 wood and 100 gold. I think that's probably a good thing for Russia because.
Yeah, well, gold is still fine for Germany. They get a market, and Russia doesn't get one too easily. But yeah, anyway, let's just rehost that.
Yeah, we want the recorded games for anybody, for posterity, really, because these commentaries are really good. But I think in years to come, maybe people want to watch the recorded games for some reason. They want to learn a matchup. I don't know. It's just nice to have them, and I think it's important that we make, when we do realize that we haven't recorded the game, we ought to check the box and do that. But yes, we're going to get right back into this. It's going to be the same matchup. The only thing that's going to be different is the map spawn and possibly the crate spawn as well. So let's take a look there. I think India, pardon me, when I said India, I meant WickedCossack because I sort of associate the two together. WickedCossack going to be quite pleased with a restart simply because he gets to re-roll his crates, and obviously Germany want to start with the 200 wood so that they can get that trading post, and it makes their Fortress Age agenda just that much smoother. So let's take a look at that. We'll start with WickedCossack in just a moment because I want to see what the wood crates are, but this map will be Kamchatka. It is the same crate start as last time, so this is entirely fair. No one can complain about anything here, but this time we have recorded the game. Here is WickedCossack spawning in the top of the map here. As I mentioned, coin crate wood crate start. Not much potential, therefore, for an early trading post, and that's only to the benefit of Russia, I think, who would rather India, pardon me, I keep saying India, Wicked Cossack would rather not get that trading post. There's a 40 XP treasure in base. I wonder if he'll go for that. Probably not, because there are goats in the middle of the map that we want to go and get. In fact, 2 goats, two spawns of 2. But in the south of the map, here we do have Risi in the color red, playing as Russia. Okay, let's talk about this matchup before these explorers race to the middle. It's always interesting to see. Both players have 1 explorer each. It's not one of those French matchups or Dutch where you have extra scouts or anything like that, so it will be quite a hotly contested goats in the center here. But that's fine. That's fine. This matchup, I wonder then if Cossack will flail again against aggro. Maybe Risi will try the same, or more of the same, right? More of the same. Try perhaps being very, very aggressive. How do you feel about being very, very aggressive? He's got the goats, but I think Cossack's going to get the goats back.
Yeah, he's going to steal them, but he might get... He's going to get these, though.
Yeah, he's got the goats there. I'm a little bit disappointed with Risi there. Usually you find the goats and you want to, like, they'd be following your explorer around, because obviously you want to keep your explorer scouting, but you've got to keep them in line of sight. So wherever the sheep go, your explorer sort of turns into a shepherd, but he's going to lose them. Looks like the Wicked Cossack is going to pick up Duba. That's really, or Freitag actually, which is going to be really good on this map, because that's an extra scout. You can get the goats. Looks like Risi has learned from his mistake there. These 2 goats are following, but 1 goat getting quite far away, but I think it's fine. It's not anywhere near Freitag. God, lots of stuff happening in this early game. I asked the question about aggro, but there's no time to answer it. Just things are happening.
Yeah, and I also want to answer something else about the macaque, right? Is it how you say it in English? Yeah. I feel like Risi should have picked it up, even if it means it delays a little bit his way towards the middle of the map. It's just an extra scout, which is huge, because you're gonna get more sheep with that guy later on, and you can also get a treasure, because he got a 3 multiplier against treasure guardians. He does the same damage as an explorer. So it's like, right now it's like having 2 explorers punching that tiger here. So it allows Wicked to actually pick that up kind of safely, because you know it's going to be twice as hard for Red to steal it. So yeah, just one thing I wanted to say about that. Another thing I wanted to say is about the maps. There's a bunch of wood treasures. And so it's quite a good spawn for treasures. And about the matchup, I think generally speaking, when you're the underdog, it's a good idea to cheese in some way, or like being really aggressive, going for a side base, or doing some cheeky strats, just because you have less of a chance to win playing standard. Then again, there's not a huge skill gap between these players, but I feel like going for something really aggressive, really all-in, like Risi did in game 1, is most likely going to give him more chances to win the game. So yeah, I expect something like that from Risi.
Yeah. I actually really agree with you. I often feel like that way in tournaments, where if I just play standard, I know my opponent will sort of just out-macro me, just out-micro me, just sort of out-me. Whereas if you play a bit cheesy and do something a bit all-in, it's kind of harder for them to, they might not react to it properly or something like that, and then I know exactly what you're saying, and I think that could be a factor. But yeah, as you said, these players still evenly matched, and I'm expecting great things from Risi. He's already taken the first game. Maybe we'll see some more. Speaking of the betting, it is 60% to Wicked Cossack and 40% to Risi, so I think people are a little bit more confident in Risi after that first game. But here he is, Risi, going to pick up that 35 coin treasure. He's also gotten 50 wood, but I think the clear winner of Age 1 here is Wicked Cossack. He's got 90 wood, 85 wood, as well as 40 wood, and that macaque. And the macaque resulted in him getting 3 goats, and his opponents only getting 1. I'm pretty sure they've eaten some goats, because there's usually more goats on the map than that. But I think Cossack, the clear Age 1 winner. That trading post is more or less free. That's absolutely incredible for him.
Yeah, I mean, can you usually already get 90 wood and 85 wood that quickly? I mean, just thanks to the macaque, right? It's
that is absolutely, but he still paid for it in terms of HP. He's actually quite low.
Now, even scouting the front base, like that dude is MVP. It's like it's actually a super good treasure, and it's just for free. You don't need to do anything. You just pick it up. It's one of the best treasures, to be honest. No, seriously, it's it's like these 50 coin treasures you get for free. It's super good, right? Or even 50 wood for just a crack shot. It's that kind of treasures, you know. It's not a huge treasure, but it's just so good, and it snowballs the H1 so much. Also, sometimes helps you killing your opponent's explorer. But this time, Wicked actually lost it himself because he picked up so many treasures. He was really low HP, but he did manage to get his trading post up, so it's gonna be fine. And we do see Risi going for something really aggressive. Already overpopped at 27, so that means he's got 3 bills, 5 Cossacks, and 5 mugs on the way. And he did not build a market in transition, so he's just like planning on getting good batches early on.
Oh, what the Risi now adding in a market there as well. Do you mean for Germany? They've not built a market either, actually. Perhaps he's wary after last game. The aggro was so fast, he's going to skip the market for the time being. Perhaps he'll get the market off his 700 wood, and for the time being, just make sure he can get stuff like that going. But by the sounds of the noises you're making, I feel like you think that's a mistake and that you ought to be able to get the market as well as making a batch of 5 Cossacks, etc., etc. But
I was reacting to the house placement here, kind of blocking the mine. But anyway, I'm not sure about not going for the market. I don't think you have to do that against Russia, but we'll see if there's a good reason why he's not building a market. Anyway, there's the pressure coming in, but I don't like that Risi is not idling. He's just sieging with Cossacks.
The house, this is fine for Cossack. Like, he doesn't care. That house has got plenty of HP. In his town center, he's put 9 villages in it, which is exactly enough to 2-shot a musketeer. He's killed that first batch of musketeers, and functionally, Risi hasn't done any damage. He's just lost 5 musks sort of almost for free. But look at this, 2 Cossacks. Can they get the snare? The ones from the shipment here, I think, pardon me, I said Cossacks, I meant Uhlans. I think, though, he might be able to get away. It's getting very dicey, though, but you can see Cossack really trying to get the snare. Looks like he does pick that up.
Yeah.
Is he going to drop that back? No, he's going to turn and fight. This is going to be a really strong fight for Wicked, though. He's got so many more Uhlan in here. And they're just going to tear these Cossacks apart. So he's lost his 5 musks, and now he's going to lose his 5 Cossack shipment as well. And I think Wicked Cossack, as a result, is in a very strong position. And even going to pick up that final one that may have got away with a batch of 2 Cossacks here from the stable. Really, really nice. Picks them all up. Picks all the musketeers up. Got his super free trading post. He's now got his market in. And he is in a very good spot.
Yeah, that is just really brutal here. I'm still laughing just because he now dropped the market there, and his settler wagons have to walk all the way around to go on that gold mine. I'm not sure why he's doing that. But yeah, regardless of that, it's definitely a very, very solid start for Germany here. And now he's able to raid, and if he wants, he can just
take out those musks. He could just go for them, and he doesn't care about the musks. Oh, no, he does.
Yeah, he's gonna pick up that bill though, but I feel like he could have just cleaned up the musketeers and then raid. But what he's doing is okay as well. Gonna pick up a second bill here on the right, most likely, yes.
Yeah. He's going to pick up. I kind of like that. Just going for the musks would limit his raiding potential. And sure, he could have taken them out pretty much, quite a good trade, but he'd still lose some HP on the Cossacks. And remember, those are going to be upgraded to veteran, right? He wants to get them upgraded. So just taking any trades now seems like something he wants to avoid. And then he's just going to be able to upgrade them all. And also, it's managed him to get an extra kill. If he'd just gone and killed all those muskets, maybe he wouldn't have managed to pick up an extra Vil kill, which he did get here. But takes 2 Vils, does take some volleys, but I think he's going to be fine with that. That was a really nice
3
raid.
Bills now.
Oh my goodness, 2 extra on the other side.
Yeah, just multitasking Risi here, forcing him to leave 10 musketeers at home, like his entire army. Oh boy, he's not gonna see it. And there's Cossacks on the way. Oh, he might still kill it though and just escape. Well, he's gonna lose 2 lands for that. It's not really worth it. But anyway, he's just buying himself so much time. Wicked is honestly like I said, his build placement is not the greatest. And his macro is also off. Like, he aged up with 1k8 food. But regardless of that, he also doesn't have placer mines right now. So kind of a few mistakes from Wicked here. But regardless, he's just cleaned up Russia early on and then killed a bunch of Vils. So it doesn't matter. And he's aging safely. So it's just kind of GG here. Even without a market the whole game, he would win now, just shipping units and then moving his stuff. So
to Risi's credit, though, he does pick up those Uhlans. that were causing him a lot of havoc. But yeah, this is kind of difficult. You really don't want Germany to be getting up sort of for free, which is what he has now done. He's now sort of up to the fortress age. So regardless of building placement, regardless of not having placer mines, all these things, Cossack's in a really good spot, as we've been saying, and he's now up to the fortress age. And this is kind of difficult for Russia to deal with, as you were alluding to before the game started. Those war wagons just outranging skirmishers, just going to be outranging all of the Russian units here. It's going to be very difficult for Risi now, but looks like he's got a bunch of Cossacks racing across the battlefield here, and
stables,
maybe he can... Yeah.
He went for 2 stables, so I was going to say he doesn't have any timing, like he just got raided and just got delayed, did no damage, so then you don't have any kind of scary timing when Germany's up where you could do a lot of damage. But at the same time, he did chip 700 gold and got 2 stables up, which might be overkill, but it's still allowing him to get kind of like a bunch of Cossacks quickly. And now shipping 4. So that's a bunch of units for Russia. And I do believe, there's 5 war wagons though. So I don't think Russia can do too much here.
Yeah.
And
he's
also,
safe with the 5 war wagons.
Unit shipment going to be popping anytime soon, so...
He's going to have a lot of stuff. How do you feel about pushing out here? I mean, a batch of war wagons does make you kind of safe, but there's a lot of red stuff, and I wouldn't feel comfortable myself until my first Fortress Age military unit shipment arrived. Here it is. 1,000 wood! Oh my goodness!
It's kind of risky to push out before that, but if you micro properly, you can just sack the skirmishers and snipe some Cossacks to make up for it. But here, he's kind of getting his war wagons code, so that's not too great. He does still have Minutemen available, though, and he's doing a decent job at trying to position his war wagons away from the musketeers, just hit and running a bit. So I think at the end of the day, it's kind of the best fight Risi could hope for, but I think Wicked will be probably okay if he can just get his war wagons out of here.
Yeah, most of those war wagons are still alive. Yeah, sure, all those skirms are going to go down, but the war wagons are just so tanky. They've cleaned up all the Cossacks now, and a batch of skirms from the barracks or perhaps the shipment is going to make all of these musks basically sort of futile in a way. They're really going to find it hard to do anything versus skirmishers. Even against these war wagons, they're going to struggle. Yeah, a couple of settler wagons. This is a little bit dicey from Cossack. I think one of them might go down, but should be able to... No, he's going to save both of them. So at the end of the day, everything's okay, and we'll be seeing his next military shipment and batch of units very shortly. There it is, 3 war wagons plus the 3 Uhlans that come for free, and now he is back on form and everything's fine. He sent that 1,000 wood, he got away with it, and now Cossack, I think, in a commanding position. That wood, he's easily going to get the placer mines that he forgot, possibly even amalgamation, lots of houses, perhaps a second barracks and stable, and everything will be golden.
Yeah, I mean, it's still so painful to see no placer mines when he had literally every single villager on gold. I think he's trying to get mercenaries on the way, but kind of painful. But regardless, just a nice hold. It's just gonna be very hard for Russia to deal with war wagons. Still, though, Wicked Cossack is actually chopping wood now. Why there's still anyway 700 of his 1k wood that he was not using, and he's even chopping some more.
Saving for then? Do you think? I mean, what? Maybe a town center? Like, why would you chop so much wood? That's kind of surprising, almost that he wants to gather even more wood. Perhaps he's I don't know. We'll see what he uses the wood for, I suppose. We'll have to sort of wait and see. They are now coming off wood. Perhaps they were just tasked to that when the hunts ran out or something, and now they're trying to find some new jobs. Yeah. He's going to have to push out very soon. Look at this from Risi. He's walling up here. He's going to keep... He was being torn apart by the raids. We saw lots of raids over here. These walls are going to sort of keep him safe. But very soon, Germany's going to have to push out onto the map for some food. His hunts are dwindling. It looks like for the time being, though, there is... and for mines, there's no gold left either. This could be a good moment for Russia. He's got a reasonable army, and Germany has to acquire more natural resources, so we're going to see a push from him.
We do have Jaegers on the way, so Wicked Cossack is going to have to delay this fight as much as possible until he can get his Jaegers in. And Jaeger's not too useful here, I think, or he might be going for Black Riders, but that would be strange, considering he's got a bunch of war wagons already, and adding some pikemen as well and the Jaegers coming in. So,
Yeah.
well, it's going to be very hard for Russia to challenge these Jaegers.
Is it Jaegers? I thought it was German and it was pronounced Jaegers, but you're French. Pardon me.
It's Jaeger. It's
Yeah,
Jaeger in German.
it's the fact that you're called Kaiserklein. It always throws me off. It sounds very German, but yeah, you're obviously very French. Anyway, the Jaegers have arrived, and now he should be able to get... Look, you can see he's just standing on this Hunting mine here, which is where Cossack wants to be gathering from. Currently, he's just gathering wood, because that's the only thing for those vills can do. Looks like...
So many Cossacks, man. Like...
Yeah, this could be dicey, and he has got boyars in as well, so these are exceptionally good at the moment. This could be a little bit tough. There's no resources for virus and threat protection. Thank you, Windows Defender. But this is looking dicey for Cossack all of a sudden. He just doesn't have any natural resources. I think maybe the 1,000 wood was a little bit too slow. Here we go. He's got a couple of pikes in here, which is nice. But those Cossacks trying to find their way on top of the Jaegers here. They're sort of trying their best. This is looking troublesome. There's a lot of Russian units. Mind you, the German ones are very, very strong, so it could be a little bit misleading. I think this fight going to be very even. In fact, even
I
in
think
German
Germany is going to clean up easily.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess Germany won that. But it was looking scary for a second, for sure.
Yeah, there's the GG. And now Risi knows it, that Cossack is absolutely free to get back out on the map now. The fight is over, and these villagers will find themselves on the food and gold. That will be the end of game number 2, and Russia just not going to be able to come back from this position. He was really hoping this keeping his opponents off the food and gold would work out, but Germany, with that Hessian Jaeger shipment, able to push back out and reclaim some of his map, and from there it just seems very, very tough. But that's the end of game number 2.
That, like, I feel like Wicked Cossack kind of played with fire. Like, he was so ahead, but then, you know, just not getting placer mine, shipping 1k wood, losing some Ulans while raiding as well, and all that stuff. You know, he kind of like played quite risky, I feel like. Also not getting any veterancy on the Ulans, and never really getting a decent mass of veteran Ulan in H3, just because, well, that's just very good against Russia, but... Well, anyway, he does win it indeed, and that's 1-1 now.
It is 1-1. Can I get some confirmation from Escape AoE in the Discord? Is Kaiser the correct volume? Is everything all good? I see a message there, but I didn't actually notice it for a while, so I'm sure they'll tell me in just a moment. But let's take a look at the post-game here. I want to take a look at all resources gathered. Wicked Cossack was ahead, but imagine how much further ahead he would be with placer mines as well. But... let's take a look at military unit count. Here's that as he was pushing out with his units. We saw that first fight sort of next to his town center. And then at the end here, we have a really, really big fight. It looks like not very many virus clipped by the name Daniel. Yes. That's funny, isn't it? But there's so many units for Russia, but they are, of course, like weak Russian stickmen, and they get knocked down quickly by Jaegers and war wagons, which are very, very strong. But that is going to be the end of game number 2. Cossack getting back into this. It is now 1-1, and I'm very interested to see the points. We'll talk about them in a moment, but before we do, let's take a look at the highlights from game number 2. But takes 2 vills, does take some volleys, but I think he's going to be fine with that. That was a really nice
3
read.
vills now.
Oh my goodness, 2 extra on the other side.
Yeah, just multitasking Risi here, forcing him to leave 10 musketeers at home, like his entire army. You can just sack the skirmishers and snipe some Cossacks to make up for it. But here, yeah, he's kind of getting his war wagons caught, so that's not too great. He does still have Minutemen available, though, and he's doing a decent job at trying to position his war wagons away from the musketeers, just hit and running a bit. So I think at the end of the day, it's kind of the best fight Risi could hope for, but I think Wicked will be probably okay if he can just get his war wagons out of here.
Yeah, most of those war wagons are still alive. Yeah, sure, all those skirms are going to go down, but the war wagons are just so tanky. They've cleaned up all the Cossacks now, and a batch of skirms from the barracks or perhaps the shipment is going to make all of these musks basically sort of futile in a way. They're really going to find it hard to do anything versus skirmishers, even against a little bit too slow. Here we go. He's got a couple of pikes in here, which is nice, but those Cossacks trying to find their way on top of the Jaegers here. They're sort of trying their best. This is looking troublesome. There's a lot of Russian units. Mind you, the German ones are very, very strong, so it could be a little bit misleading. I think this fight going to be very even. In fact, even
I
in
think
German
Germany is
favored.
going to clean up easily.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, I guess Germany won that, but it was looking scary for a second for sure.
Go into game number 3. The score is 1-1. Points so far. It looks like Jeramuno on top with 6,400. Dark Knight with 4,700. And then Nisa with 2,300, followed by Xantoao with 1,400 as well. So that first upset in the game 1, where Risi won despite Cossack having like 80% of the votes on him, has really thrown the betting into chaos. It's actually really interesting to see. Let's keep an eye on Jeramuno, Dark Knight, and the rest of those guys. I'm looking forward to seeing where the points come. But yes, we are ready to go in. Wicked Cossack has locked the Portuguese on Baja, California, and in response, Risi has picked Russia. So we will get into this game now. How do you feel about Russia versus Portuguese? Clearly, Risi wants to play Russia. He played it in the previous game, and he can still play it in this game simply because he didn't win. But, Portuguese, they got lots of town centers, and it's kind of hard to break into them. And I wonder if Russia is going to be able to do that. I mean, he could sort of contain, but then there's lots of sea, right? And that's also going to be hard for perhaps Russia to deal with. He's got to be sort of everywhere, right?
Knowing Wicked Cossack, he's probably going to go water. He likes water plays. And that is a good map for water. This matchup, it's kind of hard for Ports to deal with just a lot of streetlets going under your TC, right? Just because they are so tanky, and Ports have a bit of trouble getting Cav early on, and they can't really sheep Cav besides Mamluks in H3, which are very slow to get. So it's not that easy for Portuguese, but with the help of the water, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Without the water, I think it would be a very bad matchup for Portuguese here, right? 3 TP stagecoach for Russia, no hunts in base for Portuguese. It would be very tough. But when you can go like for a big water boom, it's another story. Then Russia has to fight on water, and Portuguese has the help of that extra town center. So.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you say Strelets are tanky, and they kind of are when they're underneath a town center, right? If you've got 10 villages in your town center and you shoot at a Strelet, you basically nearly kill it, but you don't actually kill it, so you have to shoot it a whole nother time. So it's like it's got tons of extra HP because it has to take 2 hits, when really it doesn't need to take 2 hits. But they are kind of like frustrating to deal with, and they are sort of tanky in that regard. But I'm interested to see Portuguese versus Russia. You're saying usually perhaps not so good for ports, but we do have water, and I'm sure we'll see Cossack go for that water. So we'll keep an eye on his deck and see what he has in mind. But by the looks of it, what he has in mind right away, here he is, Wicked Cossack, in the right-hand side of the map in the color blue, playing as Portuguese, putting all his villagers on wood there, and his explorers sort of racing to the bottom to drop a trading post. So clearly wanting to get those villagers on. Oh my goodness, and a 80 wood treasure as well. He's still going to gather the wood for the house. He's not going to take any risks here because his opponent might come and steal that 80 wood treasure, but I think ideally he'd use that 80 wood treasure to build a house. But I like that he's not taking the risk. He knows his opponent could be there, could be looking in that direction. But yes, house now goes down and the village is returning to work. The trading post is up as well, and he can finish that 80 wood treasure that he crack-shotted. But let's take a look at Risi here. He is on the top of the map. They're going to leave his 100 wood on the floor. Not going to go for a market, anything like that. Looks like he'd rather just get up quickly. So we're looking at a 14 villager age up by the looks of it from Russia. So probably intending to be aggressive, which is probably a good thing against somebody who's going on water. You've got to make them have something to deal with in that early portion. These are all assumptions at the moment, though. We'll take a look at their decks shortly, but looks like he's going to go for 40 XP, and that's the only treasure. Pardon me, Risi also finding 70 XP and 75 coins. So Risi off to a really nice start in terms of treasures, and Cossack a little bit further behind because of the trading post.
But Wicked Cossack is probably not going to go water. He's got a very small water deck, and he actually shipped something already. And that's not schooners, because he doesn't have schooners in deck. So he has to be shipping Economic Theory, which is probably okay because he does have that Age 1 trading post. So shipping an Age 1 shipment is definitely fine. But that doesn't look to me like a water boom. So it looks like he's going to play it on land. He's just got a couple warships in deck in case maybe Russia goes water himself.
Yeah.
What about Russia though? Well, he has pretty much the same, like just a
We
couple
do have
washes.
a treasure contention, though, Kaiser. There's a
Oh,
95 wood treasure, and Red looks poised to steal it from them. They're both getting into position to pick this up. I think Blue's going to get it, though. And, yeah, nice and easy there. I wonder if Red will now just go into hand combat. He does manage to get the snare, and now this Cossack Explorer going to big lag, find it hard to escape. He did get the snare, though, so the lag is not too bad for him there. At least he didn't escape, something like that. But, yeah, you're right. It looks like Cossack not intending to go on the water. So it's not schooners, right? It's not going to be a super heavy water boom, but you know, it is ESOC patch. You don't need to go schooners. You can still get those 70 wood fishing boats. Perhaps we'll see a few, but it looks like he's more committing.
Yeah.
He's not committing to something super water heavy, but judging from his deck, you know, he does have that sort of late game potential in there. 8 dragoons and 2 heavy cannons as well, and indeed actually will be going for a dock, just not a super heavy all-in water style that you might expect from Kanisi. So there is a dock going down, but no schooners.
Yeah, he's definitely not gonna go for a big water boom regardless of schooners, also because he doesn't have any water upgrade. Like the rendering plant card gives you 30% on both fish and whales, so it's a very good card, and he doesn't have that. So it's going to be a small water boom, just one dock most likely. I would be surprised to see him building even a second one. Interestingly enough, Eco Theory is going to be affecting the fishing boats, and that's probably why he decided to go for that card.
Yeah,
Because it's just going to affect everything. So
yeah, that's really nice, isn't it? It's like a very passive, sort of slower water boom, but you do get like, it's like Eco Theory. You're getting more juice out of it. You're getting more value out of it because it's also going to benefit more than villagers. So I kind of like that choice. But we're seeing from Risi, Blockhouse is down, and he is now up to the next stage. And if we take a look at units in queue, 5 musketeers immediately being queued up in that Blockhouse. So it looks like he's intending to be quite aggressive. Gonna gather that 400 wood up now for his barracks, and he's overpopped, so clearly has sent his 5 Cossack shipment as well. So we're looking to see aggression, similar to what he did last time. I wonder though if he can be more effective with his units this time. Last time we see him siege housing down. This time hopefully he'll perhaps get some more villagers kills and do some lasting damage. But Risi is in the Portuguese player's base. He's found that oh, here comes the muskets. Are they going to get the siege on the town centre whilst it's in construction? This is not ideal.
It's not gonna go down, but it's gonna get a lot of HP unless Wicked Cossack calls Minutemen or something. But yeah, just very quickly a few things. First, Wicked Cossack has a second dock. Second, Wicked Cossack does not have Colonial Militia in deck. And third, Risi's blockhouse is very forward and he's making units very quickly. And Wicked Cossack aged up a bit late because of that age 1 trading post. So my point is that Wicked Cossack is slow here and he does not have Colonial Militia. So I don't know how he's going to be handling the Russian pressure here.
Yeah, but he does have 8 villages in each town centre, so making the most out of the TC fire. And it's still got 2k HP here, and because of that he can get... should be able to defend this off. Maybe if he can call Minutemen. He doesn't have the gold for that, but he is constructing a market, and he's got lots of wood from that wood treasure there, so perhaps a wood shipment rather. Perhaps he can sell some of that wood and send Minutemen from one or both of these town centres. But 1,000 HP now, half of its remaining HP left, and there's still quite a lot of Russian units here, but he is losing. Minutemen are cool, so now he's going to have to give up on the siege, and perhaps he can actually repair that with the remaining wood. So ultimately this is sort of okay, but it is going to force the repair. So it does look like Risi, forcing Minutemen and forcing the repair is still quite good for him.
Yeah, and idling a lot, and just I don't know. It's just such a good start for Russia already. Like repairing that TC must cost more than 200 wood.
Yeah,
and I don't know how much. Well, Wicked Cossack has 6 fishing boats, but that's not a ton of them. I don't know. I just really like the Russian position here. I don't see Portuguese being in a good spot at the end of the day. And he's shipping 700 gold, but for what? He doesn't have a military building, and he doesn't have nearly enough food to age up. So I'm not sure what exactly is the plan here for Wicked Cossack with this gold. Maybe he's gonna follow it up with 700 food and then age up. That could be good, I guess. because right now he's floating 1k4 gold.
Yeah, he sent 700 gold and 600 gold. It is a lot of gold. It's going to be fine if he can spend it, but I suppose it does mean every villager he has can be tasked to food, but doesn't have steel traps, but still going to be quite efficient with hunting dogs and eco theory. It is food after all. It gathers quite fast. Maybe he's going to get that age up in and he'll be okay. I mean, the town centre is going to be repaired, and it looks like he's going to be fine. Can he get the age up in, though? He's not training any units, and he's not quite there on the food count, although these boats should be able to finish off that. Yeah, the fishing boat should finish it up, right?
He just has to stop making villages if he wants to age, and he's buying 100 food as well. Now gonna click up. Okay, yeah, I guess that's okay then for ports, but it was looking scary at start, right? Like, just aging up so late, getting his TC siege down, and with 2 docks, no schooners, it's just so slow from Wicked Cossack there. But if he can get up safely, it's gonna pay off for sure.
I'm wondering if Risi even knows about those docks. I don't think he's scouted them, so there's a lot of extra sort of eco here that Risi's probably not aware of. Risi's probably feeling quite good, like idling all these vills up, and Cossack doesn't really have an eco. But in the back of this, he's survived. He's managed to fend off the pressure. In fact, he's even managed to get up to the fortress age and has sort of a bonus eco that you wouldn't normally have, or Risi probably doesn't expect him to have, rather. So he's in a fine spot at the moment. Stable now coming down, and looks like we see 600 wood there. I wonder where this town centre will go. Perhaps to the coast, or maybe on the hunts at the back of the base. It's just going to stay in base, so going to fortify this position like crazy. He's going to have 3 sets of Minutemen, well now 2 sets of Minutemen that he can call very nearby in his main area, and he's got lots of TC fire covering lots of area, lots of hunts, that kind of thing. So seems like he'll be okay, but looks like Risi is going to come in with a reasonable mass of units here. He's got a little bit of time to do some damage. I wonder what he'll do with that time. He has found the town centre in the back. He could go and try and siege it, but the Minutemen are going to perhaps dampen that idea. Instead, he's just going to use his units to siege down the stable before we see anything coming out. Let's switch over to units in queue. There are hussars in queue for Wicked Cossack here, and I imagine he has a shipment on the way, I would expect.
Yeah, I believe so. And no, I don't think Risi knows about the water indeed. That's one reason why Wicked Cossack probably didn't pick a deck with schooners and stuff, because then your opponent can't really know you're going water.
Look at this juggling villages from TC to TC just to get the optimal number in. I really like that. He's sieging down the houses. He's doing a good job of doing lots of damage, but with all these TCs firing, it's kind of painful, but I think it's fine. He's garrisoning them all, and it's best to be here, right? Because when the military units shipments pop out, you can stop them from, if you deal with them as and when they arrive, that's quite good. Still juggling villages, but Risi not going to let that one go to the other there. All of these houses going down. Look, Cossack completely popped. Dragoons do arrive, and Minutemen being called at the same time, but that's not going to stop the house from going down.
No, but if Risi keeps sieging, he's going to lose 1/2 of his musketeers, and now he stops sieging because he realizes he needs all his units to fight, because that's just so much damage here for Wicked Cossack with his TC fire and the Minutemen and 5 Dragoons. So he needs to bring more musketeers to fight, and he's doing it now. Gonna chase his Dragoons away. But Wicked is kind of holding here. Then again, he's got a bunch of villagers idle, and he has no map control. But if he can just keep going like that and start pumping enough units out, he should be fine. However, if Risi starts to follow up with something a little bit more greedy, like getting a stagecoach or going up to H3, which he might be doing just now, because never mind, he's spending his resources on maybe he's not.
Well, he's macroed by the... He's got nothing in queue, and it looks like he is macroed for the age up. Tons of ills on food there in this coin shipment. So I think you're right. He's going to go with that sort of greedier play that you mentioned. I would also really like him to get the stagecoach. That would be really nice. It feels like he's done a lot of damage to Russia, and it now seems time to sort of give up on that pressure, because with 3 TCs and now your opponent's up to Fortress, it's just going to be getting harder and harder to sort of make them suffer in their base. And also the hunts are basically... Well, they're not quite out, but eventually Portuguese will be pushing out for more food, but that sort of isn't as soon as it would be in a usual game, just because there's lots of fish gathering, and those villagers will be on the food less, so that the food will last longer in base. So all these things actually working out quite well for Cossack here. But Risi, yes, he's going up to the next stage. Let's take a look. Going to be going up with the Adventurer for, I believe, I think 13 strelets.
No, that's 17 Strelets age up.
Ah, well, Strelets, still Strelets. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not sure actually if it's. I'm not sure if that one is the Strelets one, but I just know that the Strelets age up is 17. So.
It's weird, isn't it? The adventure is so different between like civs. Like for Spain, it gives 4 crossbow, 4 pike. For British, it gives 7 longbow. It just seems to give random units to. It doesn't seem consistent, so it's hard to know exactly what it gives.
Okay, I thought that would be the marksman, which gives 6 skirmishers, would be the same one as the 7 longbows and Strelets, like just the ranged infantry age up. I might be wrong.
I think it's
I'm probably wrong.
I think it's the Strelet age up, but we'll find out. Either way, it's going to the Fortress age, but no sign of a stagecoach just yet. But he has got good market upgrades. He's got his steel traps, gang saw, and placer mines, so all the ones you'd expect. But it looks like Cossack is starting to be in a much better position. He's got lots of goons and skirms out now, getting veteran hussar in, so he's clearly planning to tech into that as well. But Cossack actually gathering quite a tremendous amount of wood with his villagers there. Oh yes, because he needs to build a ton of houses. Loads of them were destroyed. That would make a lot of sense. So actually, all of this wood gathering is kind of like nothing. Usually you'd have all those houses already. So this wood gathering is kind of like villagers not working because they have to replace houses that were destroyed earlier.
He's making fishing boats though still, so he does need the wood for them. Yeah. So he's investing into more eco, and I think he can just because this sea is quite large, and I would just like him to get his placer mines again, because it looks like he really does not like the placer mines upgrade. He has quite a few wheels on gold, so that would be good. Maybe the fishing boats upgrade as well, the 10-person one at least.
Yeah, he's not got gill nets or long lines or anything like that.
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness! Suvorov reforms coming in. The Strelets being transformed into musketeers. This could be bad news. Oh wow, that's a one hell of a card. And he's got veteran musketeer here as well. 94. That's a lot of musks.
He's got 94 musketeers. That's so many.
Yeah, and there's not really very many Cassadors. He could just push them all the way back to the coast, and the Cassadors are going to kite, but they're going to run out of space to hit and run. In the meantime, this TC is being destroyed, and it's not got Minutemen, remember, so can't be called from that. He is pushing them back the best he can, but that's a lot of musketeers. Let's see if he can make this work, Kaiser.
Yeah, and Wicked Cossack went for 1k gold, which is a bit greedy, so he's being a bit punished here. And he does need to get Cassadors out really quickly, but he does not have a barrack at the moment. So, I don't know. I guess he's just going to try to buy time with his cav going around, just hit and running with Cassadors, because Cassadors do have more speed than regular infantry. And they also have more range than Musketeers, so they can hit and run forever. And there's no Cossacks for Risi. Also, although, I mean, he did get veterancy on the Cossacks, so he might be planning to make more. And he does have here a batch of 5 more Cossacks next to his blockhouses. So if Risi can get more Cossacks, that's very scary. But without Cav, these Musketeers are...
They're going to struggle, right, to deal with the Cossacks. But it seems like maybe he's not... It seemed quite scary, all of that siege coming in. All of a sudden, the Strelets, completely tech switch into Musketeers and are completely, good against the thing that they... Oh, look at that. They're going to... 2 Falconets is a really solid shipment. It's not Cossacks, but they are going to be good for siege, and they are going to be good at dealing with the Cassadors here. But I was okay, no, it's fine. I was going to say I was a little bit worried because Suvorov reforms it's not like it's adding. It's not like an upgrade or something. It's like this one-time switch into muskets, which is. It does add. It does give some value, but it's not the best shipment perhaps. But let's see if he can make it work. The cannons could be what he needs.
It's kind of like a unit shipment or a crate shipment. It's worth
cannons. Oh no! Oh dear! No! Oh, both the Falconets easily sniped there, and suddenly it was looking so good. All of these muskets were going to have great composition, but now without those artillery pieces, the Cassadors are just going to cause so many issues for these muskets. Whereas with those cannons, this would not be possible.
Like Falconets do so much damage to Cassadors because they have such low HP, and now the goons are going to be able to kite these Cossacks just fine, and Without Falconets, it's just really bad for Risi here. But with the Falconets, it would have been really in a good spot.
Yeah, God, I'm so disappointed for him. That would have been so scary for Cossack, because the Cassadors just wouldn't be able to do anything versus the Musketeers. Looks like, though, the Cossacks have found themselves on top of the Cassador, but there do seem to be enough goons to handle this, even without... No, I think Portuguese is fine. These Russian units won't last much longer.
It's fine, especially because Risi forgot about 10 Cossacks, man. That's so painful. He could maybe be cleaning up. Hello, are you here?
Yeah.
Oh, there was a lag spike. I was
there
afraid that was dropping.
Yeah, it's always frightening, isn't it? But Cossack's cleaned up here. I'd expect him to be super far ahead in terms of economy, but Risi's actually, the Russian bonus, so to speak, of like faster training villages has, really started to pay off in this sort of mid-game. And as we now go into the late game, I think the late game is sort of marked. I think you can say it's the late game when you see a mill being built, which it has now done. So... a frigate, though, being called. This is really nice. Okay, starting to contest this water. He does know it exists.
Yeah, and if he denies the water, then Wicked Cossack is very far, or not very far, but he's behind in eco for sure. So Wicked Cossack is gonna have to react here and train some warships himself, or ship something. But at the same time, he did get the Dragoon combat card.
Those Cassadors not feeling good.
Yeah, but he's cleaning up everything with Dragoons anyway, so I don't think it's gonna matter too much here. And yeah, these Dragoons are carded. They're very strong. And Hussars as well gonna come in for like the snare and just like... I don't know, Russia has just no military here. He's gonna have to remass very quickly. A lot of musketeers or cav archers, so...
A frigate of a Cossack does come to defend on the water, but take a look at this fight. It does look like the Hussar batch has managed to catch up with the Strelets and they are absolutely toast. Minutemen being called, but with only Cossacks here, those Dragoons are going to be quite pleased, and this will be very difficult for Russia. Lots of Portuguese units coming in here, and the reinforcements are going to be quite far away, right? The blockhouse is on the other side of the map. There's another one here. Retreating home is kind of awkward, but let's see what he can do. He's going to run around with all this cav. Maybe he can kill lots of villager kills. Doesn't look like there's too many good places to raid, but there is a frigate battle.
Yeah, and it's pretty close.
Yeah, I can't tell who's in the lead. Manchurian archers, though, coming in. That is exactly what Russia need. Where are they? Here they are.
I was gonna say that. Like, I really hope Russia is gonna get the Manchus, and along with some Strelets, he has a very solid unit composition.
It looks like Cossack's boat will die. So that frigate of. But there is a couple of outposts.
If he can build a dock. Oh, and there's an outpost, okay? Because
I think that's going to sink the frigate. The outpost is in range. Can he get it away? No, frigate does go down. But back into the fight on the land.
Meanwhile, Risi is losing everything, so...
Yeah, not ideal.
He does need to mass more before taking a fight. I mean, he just lost all his army, like, twice, so... He needs to mass up more Strelets before he can think of taking a fight here. But he's not doing that, so he's just gonna get cleaned up once more.
Yeah, I think
he can't just can't keep doing that forever. Like he doesn't have he has limited resources, right? He's running out of hunts, so he needs to stop.
Oh, but look at this raid.
Oh, yeah, and that's good because he can't really use his Cossacks in the fight since there's mostly Dragoons here for Wicked Cossack. So he's just raiding with them and picking up a lot of villagers. And that game is still quite close, right? I mean. The eco is close, the military is rather close, and ports does have no map control, so it's quite a close game, yeah.
Yeah, he's lost 15 villages now as well, and look, he's on mills, so this is very, very slow gathering, and he hasn't got any mill upgrades either, so actually, Risi very far ahead in terms of economic potential, just because he's still on hunts and on natural resources. It's just very, very difficult for Cossack to gather, because mills are just so inefficient, and I guess he does have fish, but there's no, there's only whales. All the fish is gone, almost, but it does look like Risi gearing up for another push. So if he's successful on water here and can start pushing the fish back, Cossack gonna have even less eco. But there are quite a lot of coastal defences here. These outposts and the dock are going to make it very difficult for this frigate to push down the coast. He's going to need land support to deal with the outposts if he wants to make that happen. But counter raid coming in. Looks like that's a very ambitious mind to be gathering from. So I think he's just gotten back at his opponent now, and the raids have sort of been neutralized because they both got a huge raid. Oh, wow.
Why would you be gathering there? And he has plenty of gold, I think, left.
Yeah, there's a mine like here. Yeah, that was a
here, like just in his base.
Okay,
so I really don't know why.
An unusual mine to be gathering from, for sure.
Yeah. Well.
So
still, yeah, very, very close game.
Should we step back? Let's take a step back and assess this situation. So, currently, Wicked Cossack and Risi on very even villager population, but Cossack is gathering from mills without upgrades. It's very, very slow. But he has managed to survive, and he has gotten his transition done. So he's got 3 mills out, right? And it seems that Risi will have to do that transition very, very soon, because this hunt's up in the top. If he can't gather from that, which it looks like he can't, because Cossack has got lots of military, it's going to be tough for Risi to make that transition himself. And as a result, I think when he does make that transition, Cossack will be able to get quite far ahead. But also on the water, this frigate is not going to be able to do anything. There's 2 outposts here, and it doesn't look like Risi can really mount any kind of land pressure on the outposts, so that frigate not going to be able to contest the water, and these fishing boats going to be absolutely fine to gather from west. However, there aren't actually that many fishing boats gathering, so maybe it's not even worth pushing in anyway. But I think going into the late game, Cossack is going to be absolutely fine. I think he is sort of I think I'm going to put my money on him, and also a fort coming down as well. I really, really like this. At this point in the game, that's going to secure him these hunts and give him so much map control. Okay,
so that frigate is not really able to push in, but it's at least denying 1 whale and a bit of fish. Also, Risi is water booming himself now on the other part of the water, and he dropped down a saloon. Sadly, he can only make ninjas in H3, so that's not too good. Because it could have been a good way, to just like
stay in the game.
For now, I have only gold. I'm gonna make mercs, and meanwhile, I'm water booming, so I don't really need to make meals, and I can just
delay that mill switch.
Actually, but ninja's not too good here. Yeah, no. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to reiterate the same thing as you. Like, he's just delaying. Like, it's to my point, right? I said that building mills would basically make him lose the game because it's just so expensive to do. So he's going to delay that as long as possible by training something that costs gold but ninjas obviously not ideal. And then by the time those ninjas have been created and he's like having to switch back to other resources, the fish boom would have started to pay off. But Cossack looks like he's using all this free time to just destroy stuff. There's lots of random houses been placed out on the map where Risi's just sort of slammed them down because he's too busy. Wants to, you just find a villager and slam a house down, and you don't really care where it is.
Getting line of sight, to be honest, also in the chokes is pretty good.
Yeah, that is actually good. But look at this. There's a few ninjas there in stealth, and they're going to be able to take out those organ guns. They're not revealing themselves just yet.
Yeah, they could be killing the organ guns, but...
He's got 10 ninjas, 13 cav archers, and 30 strelets here. So that's, if he keeps those ninjas hidden, this could be really surprising for Cossack, because all these ninjas are about to... come on, get them in stealth. Put them in stealth. They can be seen. And now he's given them away. Oh no!
No, half of them in stealth. No, that's so bad here. But each of them take 4 pop space, but there were only 2. So what we see in the graph... inflated, so like the Portuguese army is just even if the ninjas can kill the organ guns and get a good surround on Wicked Cossack's army, I think just this mass of guns and Hus just don't care about any of the Russian unit here. He can just dead move everything and win. So I think Risi has to wait and maybe stop making ninjas because he's gonna be next, like very close to his pop cap, and each of them costs 4 pops. So at this point, he might just want to just not make ninjas. Might even want to delete the low HP ones or
because they take up 4. That's the trouble. They're so misleading, aren't they?
Raid. Yeah, just go for a suicide rate with them or something. Because look, he's at 200 pop, and he really needs to make something more efficient than ninjas now. So
yeah, like ninjas represent 4 population, but they definitely don't represent that on the battlefield.
They're 200 gold, so that's usually 2 pop space. I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's intended, but they're very awkward in late game. And like this could be, instead of 9 ninjas, like 36 pop of stuff, like 36 Cossacks instead of 9 ninjas, you know?
Yeah, but you had no food, right? That's the whole point here. But they are in stealth.
Of
Let's
course.
see what they can achieve. They do come out of stealth now. I'd like to have seen them go for the organ guns, but I don't know. I think, as you said, these hussars, these dragoons, they don't really care. There's just so much. An Egyptian Mamelukes now coming out for Portuguese as well. That's a really solid shipment. Just so much Portuguese stuff here. I think this Red Army going to get cleaned.
Yeah, and you look at the military population of Red now that he lost his ninjas, and it's not scary at all anymore. And he's just gonna get cleaned up really hard here. And he's ahead in eco, but how much is he gonna have to remass now to beat that army?
And he sees the Mamelukes, and he's just like, GG, I'm not dealing with... Oh, and they've even got cavalry cuirass on them. 1600 HP on a Mameluke. That's just absolutely filthy. But Wicked Cossack, wow, what a game. Does take the second victory in this series, bringing him up to match point. And we may see him win the next game and therefore take the series. But a close series so far. Risi picking up that first victory, and now Cossack following up with 2 more. But yeah, this is the right time to call the game. You'd lost your army there. God, ninjas, they're just not ideal, are they? But that's kind of what happens when the hunts run out, and you just sort of... Cossack was preparing, weaving in sort of mills, nice and early, although I would have liked him to stay on natural resources a bit longer. There's quite a lot of hunt sort of on his side of the map still, and lots up near his fort, so he could have delayed those mills, but ultimately he's already done his switch sort of slowly and steadily, and now his opponent has to do the switch, and as a result, just can't keep up with the military production and sort of loses there. Any thoughts, Kaiser, before we take a look at the post-game and then the highlights afterwards?
Yeah. I feel like Risi just lost every fight. If you look at the military unit population, I kind of want to say, everything you said is relevant, and I totally agree. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter because Risi is just losing every fight, right? So if you just lose every fight, you lose the game. And that's what happened to Risi. But I totally agree with your points with the switching and stuff. A bit unfortunate that he got ninjas in the saloon. You can imagine if he got something relevant, actually, like, let's say, Manchus, he could have been a bit more pleased about it. But, what's indeed a very good game. And I feel like Risi had the potential to really win it at some point. Like when he had the Falconet and the 100 Musketeers, man, that was one hell of a scary timing, and he just kind of blew it up. So
yeah, it just got thrown away, right? You're right. Those Falconets, if he'd kept them back and if he protected them nicely, God, it would have been so different. Like, he could have done so much lasting damage, and this game could have turned out kind of different. But we'd better head on out into the lobby. Before we do, though, let's take a look at the highlights of this series, and we'll be back in just a moment. He could go and try and siege it, but the Minutemen are going to perhaps dampen that idea. Instead, he's just going to use his units to siege down the stable before we see anything coming out. Let's switch over to units in queue. There are Hussars in queue for Wicked Cossack here, and I imagine he has a shipment on the way, I would expect.
Yeah, I believe so. And no, I don't think Risi knows about the water indeed. That's one reason why Wicked Cossack probably didn't pick a deck with schooners and stuff, because then your opponent can't really know you're going water.
Look at this juggling villages from TC to TC just to get the optimal number in. I really like that. He's sieging down the houses. He's doing a good job of doing lots of damage, but with all these TCs firing, it's kind of painful, but I think it's fine. He's garrisoning them all, and it's best to be here, right? Because when the military units shipments pop out, you can stop them from, if you deal with them as and when they arrive, that's quite good.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, Suvorov reforms coming in! The Strelets being transformed into Musketeers, and this could be bad news! Oh wow, that's a one hell of a card. And he's got Veteran Musketeer here as well. 94. That's a lot of Musks.
He's got 94 Musketeers. And it's like worse.
Cannons. Oh no! Oh dear! No! Oh, both the falconets easily sniped there, and suddenly it was looking so good. All of these muskets were going to have, great composition, but now without those artillery pieces, the cazadors are just going to cause so many issues for these muskets. Whereas with those cannons, this would not be possible to raid. But there is a frigate battle.
Yeah, and it's pretty close.
Yeah, I can't tell who's in the lead. It looks like Cossack's boat will die. So that frigate of... But there is a couple of outposts.
If you can build a dock... Oh, and there's an outpost, okay? Because
I think that's going to sink the frigate. The outpost is in range. Can he get it away? No, frigate does go down.
So he needs to stop
but look at this raid.
Oh. Yeah, and that's good because he can't really use his Cossacks in fight since there's mostly dragoons here for Wicked Cossack. So he's just raiding with them and picking up a lot of villagers. And that game is still quite close, right? I mean, the eco is close, the military is rather close.
Yeah.
And Forts does have like no map control.
The outposts if he wants to make that happen. But counter raid coming in. Looks like that's a very ambitious mind to be gathering from. So I think he's just gotten back at his opponent now, and the raids have sort of been neutralized because they both got a huge raid. Oh wow. No food, right? That's the whole point here. But they are in stealth. Let's see what they can achieve. They do come out of stealth now. I'd like to have seen them go for the organ guns, but I don't know. I think, as you said, these hussars, these dragoons, they don't really care. There's just so much. An Egyptian Mamelukes now coming out for Portuguese as well. That's a really solid shipment. Just so much Portuguese stuff here. I think this Red Army going to get cleaned.
Yeah, and you look at the military population of Red now that he lost his ninjas, and it's not scary at all anymore. And he's just going to get cleaned up very hard here. And he's ahead in eco, but how much is he going to have to remass now to...
No food, right? That's the whole point here. But they are in stealth. Let's see what they can achieve. They do come out of stealth now. I'd like to... All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This could be our fourth and final game. Cossack currently on 2 points and Risi on 1, so it is match point for Wicked Cossack. But let's take a look at the civilization selection screen. The next match will be on Deccan. Looks like Cossack has selected Russia. He had to pick first and went with Russians, and his opponent picked British in response. Not the usual pick, I think, but Deccan does flip everything up in the air, so certainly makes British a lot more palatable. You get all that extra crates, which gets you up to the next stage faster. You can pretty much get a trading post for free if you want it. All of these things are going to ease it a bit more into dealing with aggression, perhaps, that you'd normally see from Russia. But mind you, Russia could just age up. We discussed this yesterday. They don't have to train any villages. You start with 900 food or something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
800 food immediately, so he could well just age up straight away because Deccan is just so crazy and ridiculous. I don't think he will do that, but, there are increased defensive options. There are increased offensive options is perhaps the best way to put it. But, yes, the matchup will be British versus Russia on Deccan here. Spawning in the south of the map in the color red, we do have Risi123. It is up to him to win a game here, or he will be eliminated. Well, not eliminated, knocked into the lower brackets, and Cossack will progress through to that final match where he will be able to qualify. That's the next round, the round of 8. But was it? Yes, that's right. But yeah, he looks like the Explorer. Going to head straight to the middle of the map there. Does find 2 yaks immediately. Sometimes we see British going for trading posts on this map just because of so much extra wood, but actually he does want to contest those yaks. And likewise, Wicked Cossack playing as the Russians as well. Doesn't look like he'll be aging up immediately. He definitely has queued some villages as we sort of expected him to. But we'll be contesting the yaks at the same time. So let's keep an eye on that age 1. Let's go to economic units and we can see how many yaks they get.
Yeah, and as Brits, you have just so many options on Deccan because you can invest your wood into manors or into a trading post, and also there's a market as well. It looks like here Risi is going for the more aggressive way of playing it, like just getting directly 2 manors, which means he's gonna have the pop space, and he's just not gonna bother getting a TP. the TP is nice, but maybe if you expect Russia to be very aggressive, you want instead just manors and your market just to be set up to start making units in early colonial easily. Then again, Russia can also go for lots of different stuff. Like you can see an 8 villager age up or a 5 villager age up or an 11. You know, there's like, you can do pretty much anything because training vills is so expensive for Russia early on anyway. So even if they make 3 more vills, they're not going to age up. I mean, if you cut 3 vills or if you make them, you're going to have 800 anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
You will gather up the 270 food just with your 5 vills early on. But here he's going for the 11 age up. And he did get a market and hunting dogs, but no training posts.
No, but he did find his opponent's explorer. I was zooming in on this just to see if looks like Risi is trying to break the snare by doing the trick where you attack at the same time and you snare your opponent so that they can't continue snaring you. But he's not going to be successful there. But he did find quite a lot of cows, just because look at how many cows he's gotten. 6 cows. He's in a really nice spot. And I really like his choice to go scout with one of them, because he knows his opponent's explorer is on the other side of the map. It's not going to be stolen. And that cow can like penetrate the blackness and find some good stuff. So I really like that from him. But yeah, look at that. Cossack is going to be going up on 11 villages, which really isn't very many at all. But...
and he did, very importantly, he skipped the wood trickle. So because he did not get a TP, and if you age up that early as Russia without a TP, you're not going to be able to have a shipment ready. So he's just going for that forward blockhouse on the side here. Didn't ship on the side and on the open side so that he can't really get walled up because of the TP line. Yeah, he's just going to be super aggressive, right? Just going to be able to ship 2 shipments back to back, potentially 2 unit shipments. At least 1 for sure, because if you go so aggressive, you definitely want to get something out of it. So you're definitely going to be shipping Streelets or Cossacks first and just pressure. Then after that, we'll have to see if Wicked Cossack will decide to maybe go for 700 wood for a stagecoach on the right side, for example, or if he will just keep spamming unit shipments.
Yeah, we'll see. He's about to hit up. The blockhouse is now constructed. 5 musketeers in queue immediately, and... we'll see if he sends... Doesn't look like he's going to send 5 Cossacks, though, because he's not overpopped just yet. So perhaps 700 wood or something like that.
No, he does have it. He got 24 pop with 11 vills, so that's 5... Five costs and 3 vills, yeah.
He has 3 fewer villages, so it's not actually overpopped. Right. Usually you would be overpopped, I see. So 5 Cossacks will... And that makes a lot of sense. I was a little bit surprised about that. But no, it will be the case. 5 Cossacks and some musketeers. So looks like that town centre, outpost going up. He's not going to siege that. Maybe trying to steal some of the axe. You can see Risi consolidating them nearby so they can't be stolen. But let's see what Wicked Cossack can do. We saw in the previous game, that Risi kind of bled out his musketeers and didn't get too much done, but here let's see what Cossack can do. He's the one playing Russia. Cossack's now coming in. Will they find some villagers to kill? No, he's bringing back the ones on the elephants. He's going to be able to get them in his base there, but he is going to take a shot with his musketeers. Look at that villager. Is it going to go down? Yes, the musketeers and Cossacks do manage to pick it off, and there is an explorer as well that he'll be able to kill. 45 XP and deny scouting there. Villagers does come out. It's rallied to the tree. It does take half damage, but ultimately not going to go down. And okay, so he killed, I think, 1 villager there and an explorer in exchange for basically 4 musketeers, because this one's solo health. It might as well be dead. So it does kill a villager, but ultimately it doesn't seem great. A lot of damage taken.
Yeah, not the best Russia could do here, probably, just because he went for musketeers, and... I feel like you could maybe start Streelet. It's always a little bit risky in case there's a stable, but you don't really expect Brits to be getting a batch of 5 hussars super early or something. Although they can sometimes, but I mean, like Streelets would have just been better here. But he went for the safe, the safe bet, just going for musketeers. And didn't achieve too much since Risi has a tower and musketeers himself. Now killing another villager, but getting some volleys. A second batch of musketeers is going to kind of trap the Cossacks here. He's going to take some more damage, but not too much.
But he does get eyes on the stable, and actually going to kill the villager building it there.
Yeah, it was a low HP one, so able to not deny the stable, but does kill a villager here.
Yeah. And there's also a manor house in his base that he killed. I really like that. Whilst he was waiting for Matt to mass up and for his 13 Strelot shipment, he got to kill a house, which will make it a little bit difficult for British because he might get popped at some point. No, he's got a lot of houses. I doubt it'd be popped. But either way, it's XP for killing it, which is kind of nice. And now he's got another good timing going to come in here with quite a number of units. Cossacks, Strelets, Minutemen being called. Looks like, though, Cossack not wanting to commit to that. Does pick up a Vil, so it will be worth it, so to speak, having walked in here. But now, going to be
forcing Minutemen, forcing Minutemen is very important here. I don't think he didn't decide to commit because there was a Minuteman, but he could win this fight. But just afraid of like something popping because he knows there's a stable and a racks up, so there could be a lot of stuff popping. Also, could probably see the 700 gold on the floor. So he knows, like, yeah, if I commit now, I might just get crushed by a big batch of 5 Husk, 5 Musk. So he kind of needs more Musketeers before he can think of pushing. I feel like.
Yeah, but let's take a look at the economic unit population. So units lost. British has lost 4 Vils. So Russia, has been quite successful in their sort of raids. And behind this, they have 17 villagers, hunting dogs, and gang saw. So no steel traps and placer mines here. Wicked Cossack a little bit far behind on his upgrades, but to be expected, really. He wanted to start really aggressive with a forward blockhouse, and he sent nothing but military unit shipments. So he's sort of lacking in those upgrades. But maybe we'll see 700 wood next, and with that, he can get lots of houses. He's nearly popped, and indeed those upgrades, and perhaps a second military building as well. 700 wood, there it is, and that looks like what he's going to do. We'll keep an eye on his upgrades. But British, although he lost quite a few Vils, which is not ideal, he is still in this game, and he's got a reasonable military unit population. He's got both his barracks and stable down. He's got 2 types of units here, so he's set up. He's fine, but he's got much better upgrades, steel traps and placer mines here. So that's the assessment of the economies at the moment. And it looks like Wicked Cossack going to switch gear now into something more eco-focused. He's not getting his upgrades just yet, but he is going to get the trading post and I imagine stagecoach as well.
Yeah, but like he's got only 1 blockhouse, and I feel like he should be just getting a second one because now it's going to be very tough for him to hold that. I mean, he went so all in on unit shipments.
Oh no, it died!
Denying the TP, yeah. But to be honest, I think that's okay. I mean, Wicked should really be afraid of fighting now because Risi has just stronger units and more of them. It's just like, going for these 3 unit shipments, like 5, 4, 13, the famous all-in Russian rush, without a wood trickle. So that's also like 2.5 villages just not being there. And he did also, I think, not make Vils, right? I mean, he's on 23 Vils at 9 minutes. He has to have been skipping villages. So now he's kind of like the follow-up sucks a bit for Wicked Cossack here, and I don't know if he's going to have enough stuff to defend now. We have the fight.
There's a lot of British musketeers there, and I mean, he's got a few Strelets in there, but they're so weak. I mean, they're very good against muskets, but there's quite a lot of red muskets here, and I think, having said that, though, most of the cav gone down, so maybe these Strelets are okay.
1 Hussar coming in for Risi. Like, imagine a batch of 5 at this point, and he does have quite a lot of resources in the bank.
Yeah, he must have skipped a batch. God, that's kind of game-changing, isn't it? If he had 5 Hussars here, these Strelets would be so useless.
He saw there were a lot of Strelets, and he really needed, like, a bunch of Huss here. He built his stable kind of early, right? With 700 wood, so he could have at least 10 Huss when he was pushing and just win the game, I think. But because he didn't have Huss, Russia had, like, despite having less military, had just a better unit composition because he had more Strelets and Risi didn't really have Hussars. So Russia was able to hold here, and it's kind of a close game. But there's still a second chance for Risi to try to nuke that forward position here. Still no second blockhouse and still not too many units for Russia. So I think Risi can still push, but he needs to get more Huss out. He was going to raid, and he's going to come back. And he's gonna go raid again, so he's not really sure what he's doing. But
I don't know. This like British could have gone, could have had a really great fight there, as we're saying, if the 5 Cossacks. But British, he's not looking so good now. Like Russia's got plenty of stuff here, and he's catching up in economy. I mean, 5 villagers has just come in, so it really that looks a lot better for British now that the 5 settlers are in. But he's actually, Russia catching up. Their civ bonus is sort of faster training villagers. He's now got his upgrades in, or gang steel traps. No placer mines just yet. I think the story really is that Cossack does not like sending steel placer mines, but 5 hussars coming in on the coin mine to raid, and because of these housing placements, I like that, getting them right behind the vills and going to force them to sort of go around the long way. These houses kind of a little bit awkward for Cossack. One villager does go down there. He's going to get them in.
blocking his gold mine. Again, blocking his gold mine with high. Usually, you build your houses around the gold mine so that it's protected, right? But not like look at that. All his vills walking around the houses to gather the 700 wood, like it's so awkward. And and he's gonna have to move his villagers now because he has no safe gathering spot. Again, like he could have had maybe stagecoach earlier instead of like so many unit shipments. Then from stagecoach he would get so much wood he would be able to build more blockhouses to just secure the map.
I love this from Risi as well. Yeah. He noticed the stagecoach. Well, he noticed rather that the trading post was something Cossack was building, and it goes down to deny the final one there. And the stagecoach is in, so it's going to be a while before that's going to. It's not in. I always get confused with the. Oh yeah, it's still the wagon guy.
Now it has to be two
lines,
parallel lines, so yeah.
Okay, so it's not too bad then, actually. Second blockhouse, or another blockhouse coming in, and that's probably a reaction to his first one being surrounded by so many musketeers. I don't think he can get back in time to defend it. So not only did those Cossacks kill villagers in his base, deny the trading post, and are now sieging the market and threatening these gold mining villas, it also forced his military away from his initial blockhouse, giving the musketeers enough time to destroy it. And now British in a solid position with musketeer combat coming in, or musketeer attack.
And just like no, how should I say? There's just no Cossacks for Wicked Cossack, and so that's kind of sad for him, right? And there's like, because he has no Cossacks, he has to make a lot of musketeers to beat the hussars, so he has even less strength, kind of.
Look at this, and a ton of villagers going to go down as well.
Yeah, so he has boyars, but it's not too impactful. While Brits have musketeer attack, is very ahead in eco.
This is he's looking so good, right? Even log flume coming in. Like let's just assess how good and how far ahead British is at the moment. He's denied that trading post for Wicked Cossack down here. He's even building it himself. The stagecoach is in, and he's gathering from it himself on it. It's so strong. And look, 47 economic unit population to 29. He's just really far ahead. And in terms of military, when you consider that Russian have 1-pop units that aren't actually as strong as a regular 1-pop unit, and they're the same roughly on military population, British is just so far ahead, especially with this grenadier combat here. I think the only oh dear, and this is another big pickup for Risi.
Well, it's not. Risi is microing, so he's not gonna lose a single hussar here. It's like gonna be like totally wrecking these musketeers. So that's just not what Wicked Cossacks needs here. I don't know what he can do at this point to just come back in the game. Like, Risi even has a booming potential still. Like, he's on 140 mana pop, so he can still get even more ahead in eco. And what is Russia gonna do now?
Yeah,
he's gonna have to. He has no mobility. He's gonna have to go back all the way up here to try to defend, but he can't even really take a fight, I think, just because there's so much crazy stuff here, and that's just really awkward.
And cavalry hit points coming in as well. Oh my goodness, this is looking so good for Risi here. The cav looks like he is going to try and get back here, though. He doesn't want to take this just yet. Minutemen. I guess there's quite a lot of Strelets mixed in, which is kind of awkward for him.
But I think he could have just jammed it in with
pull trick.
With
Come
the
on,
Cav HP Hussars. He could have just taken that fight, but now he kind of lost a bunch of units by just walking away and getting shot by Minutemen and the infantry. So really pretty okay here for Cossack. I don't think it's enough to come back in this game, but it's a good start, I guess.
Yeah, at least he's pushing him back, but like, I mean, British still has so much eco. Maybe that's what Rise's thinking. He's just like, I've got tons of villagers, I don't want to take this fight, I'm just going to retreat, I don't want to just waste my units, because the only possible way Russia wins this is by, like, decisively destroying my army and then, like, attacking my vills and I can't gather resources. So, like, maybe he's just playing it safe, although that retreat did cost him a lot. Maybe he obviously didn't want to lose so much. He was probably hoping for a cleaner retreat, but not engaging was, by the looks of it, a tactical decision from Risi here. And look, even more raids. Risi raiding with quite a number of cav, but and that could be awkward because this fight in his base, I think he'll need the cav at home. But he is getting tremendous raids and is getting tremendously good eco.
I guess if Russia can just outplay and keep like raiding and like chasing the cav of Risi and stuff, then he might be coming back at some point. I don't know. Yeah, that game is probably not over. It does look very good for Brits, but he needs to win a fight. You know, like just shut down Russia and win the game. But if you keep just running around and stuff, then at some point Russia is gonna outscale. It might take very long, but Russia can just outscale.
Looks like that's a lot of cav. Is he? He can't. She surely can't take. No way.
Like Risi can totally clean this up. Like. With cav HP, like, and these Russian musketeers,
he's got a lot of units to the south, though, and if they kind of rendezvous together, he should be able to make a sort of reasonable fight. But he's sieging the houses, no, he's coming in. But Team Musketeer hit points as well. This is going to be a great fight for British, and that's exactly why he was preserving his units, because once all these upgrades are in, he's just unstoppable. This fight would be so good for British, with both upgrades in, and all of these Hussar.
Yeah, I think... that might be GG. We'll have to see how Wicked can... Oh, actually, the Huss kind of melting there.
Yeah, they are kind of melting. And actually, there's still a number of Strelets here. And there's units from back. I'm really surprised at that fight. Blue actually standing his ground.
He's got a bunch of stuff here, though. So he doesn't have that many units in the fight, as it was showing on the graph. Maybe that's why.
But it's still okay.
Regardless, Brits still, still double-carded musketeers here, so they are kind of scary. And if he can bring, he's gonna bring the 5 extra Cossacks and clean.
Now it's surely Cossacks, soaking all of the Strelet attacks. Those musketeers are going to be absolutely fine. Cossack doing a good job of sort of kiting back, but that's awkward. Musketeer raid, back to the fight.
Yeah, more must like. I don't know, it's probably not enough, but it's definitely annoying for Risi here. But if he can just send his army over to the left side and just remass, I think then he can just snowball this into a win now. Like, he might even clean up these musketeers here on the left, so...
But, actually, Risi's sort of evened out Wicked Cossack's evened out the villager population a lot. He's only 15 ahead now. And he does have 2 stagecoaches rather than just the one of Risi. But up against double-carded Musks and a card on the Hussars, it's kind of tough. But I think both players going to have to consider aging at some point, right? Because no one has any shipments left. All the Age 2 shipments are going to be sort of gone. Let's take a look at British here. What has he got available? Basically sent both the... He's just got 600 wood left. He's got 6 longbows, and that's it, right? Neither
he's only got 6 longbows. That's the only shipment.
And that's going to be similar for Russia. He's even sending Eco Theory because he's just not got enough stuff.
Yeah, it's worse for Russia because they don't have a villager shipment, and he has also advanced arsenal instead of that in the deck. So he can't really be shipping too much stuff. But at the same time, Eco Theory is a decent card, And the wood trickle, well, he just shipped it now, so that's not too horrible, I guess. And he has a cav HP card as well. Anyway, Risi going in here, and that doesn't look too good for Cossack. Risi has twice the military, but he's pulling back.
And he's not interested in fighting. It seems really unusual, because these musketeers, 172 hit points, 26 attack, compared to the Russia ones that have 18 attack and 120 hit points. The British ones are just leagues and bounds better. But he doesn't want to take that fight yet, which is giving Wicked Cossack just more room to stay in the game. And I think he's macroing to age up here. He's not... let's take a look at units in queue. He's got no units in queue, although 4 blockhouses in the middle of the map here. Looks like he's saving to age up. And if he can get up to the next age, that's kind of what he needs at this point, like falconets and stuff to deal with these super strong muskets. Because he can't just fight those muskets with his muskets and strelets. It's just... Oh, okay.
I mean, at the same time, though, he does also need map control, so aging is a little bit risky in that regard.
Both players.
But I guess he's fine on berries and hold here on the right side. He has a bit of resources. And Russia is aging up himself, so not going to be a big problem here for Brits. But what I dislike about aging here is that it's just playing a bit slower, and playing slower just plays into the Russian hands at this point. Because he's going to keep making more villages than Brits, and he's gonna get really good upgrades on his units in H3 probably, like this calf combat and straight combat. Like the Russian units are very strong when they get carded by several upgrades.
Yeah.
So I don't like too much Risi playing it that slowly, but I think he's ahead enough that it works anyway. Like he's got more military and more economy. But just saying, at some point you have to be careful against Russia to not stretch it too much to like late game. Like it's already a 21-minute game, so you want to be finishing it soon, as Brits here.
Yeah, does take out that blockhouse on the side here. I really like that he's gathering berries. Like, he's just being so careful. He doesn't want to, like, have, random vills on the side of the map. Actually, there's not really a lot of hunt on his side. I guess berries is all he's got access to. But he's keeping the villagers near his army at all times, so it's very hard to raid them. But Russia, big timing here. Lots of veteran Cossacks now veteran musketeers. Yeah. His musks are actually now normal musks. They've got 150 HP and 23 ranged attack.
Exactly, yeah. And
the muskets have become muskets.
Right, but also like Russia just aging fast because it's Russia, and Brits just aging slow because it's Brits. Just making it like there's kind of a small window here where Wicked has upgraded stuff and Risi doesn't, so I don't think he will do too much damage though. Like Risi is gonna get falconets himself, and then he will be fine most likely.
Oh well, big rage.
Oh,
rip! That guy got.
Oh wow!
Absolutely
nice.
Nailed by the, as Zach would say, by the cannons. Artillery foundry going down for Cossack here. Looks like he sort of macroed for falconet production. I wonder what it'll actually make. Falconets or maybe a culverin. He's got a culverin queue. Playing
he
super
could make
safe.
just one culverin to win the falconet war and then add some falconets.
And now the final card for these musketeers coming in. 225 hit points and 34 ranged attack on those vet musks for British.
Yeah, but no falconets, so it's going to be harder to kill the blue falconets. Then again, he has so strong musketeers, he can probably just jam it in and one-shoot the falconets easily.
Yeah,
because
so
they have 34 attack. Like that's disgusting.
Absolutely nuts, yeah.
It's an H4 musketeer at this point. But he still needs to
fight,
kill the falconets.
even with the falcs, this fight looks so good for Brits. Like it's...
Yeah, let's see if he can kill them, the Russian falconets. At the same time, WickedCossack is training 2 culverins because he expected Brits to have falconets, so he's gonna have 2 useless units there. And his own falconets are dead, and that is not looking good for him because these British musketeers are like just way stronger than the blue ones.
Yeah, I wonder if he should have made 2 more falconets rather than 2 culverins, because 4 falconets probably wins the falc war, and falconets are just more versatile than culves. And imagine what 2 extra falcs would do in this fight. Although it could be risky with all those cabs running around, but those 2 culves are just sitting there, just not really doing all that much.
I think with 2 extra falconets, he could have just he would be forcing Risi back right now. Like he could be using them just now or whatever, and just forcing him back. But regardless of that, it was not a very bad trade for Russia, was it? I mean, his musketeers are so much weaker, and yet he was able to kind of hold it. But I don't know why he's showing his culverins now.
Yeah, get them out of there, Cossack. He's going to lose the foundry as well, and there's a bunch of vills on these berries. I think he
Does
sees
assist
them.
now?
4 Falconets coming out, though. This is really strong. That's a lot of Falcons. He does take one off pretty quick because they're in range. But 4 Falcons is going to clean up pretty quick. They've got a lot of ranged resist here, though. There's 2 Falconets coming in from the side there, but the Culverins are going to be able to deal with that. Actually, the Falcons not doing as much damage as I thought they would. They just spawned too close to the muskets, and that's an issue. But does manage to take one of the Falcons out. Very low HP on that other one there. And I think, actually, Risi, despite that pop, still has this fight here.
Yeah, but at which cost? Like, this was a really good trade again for Russia, but yeah, he's just really behind. Risi can't afford to take bad trades at this point just because he's ahead, but not for long. If he keeps taking that kind of trades, I think Russia will eventually be able to maybe win the game. But yeah, still looking strong for Risi. Although, does he really want to be pushing in these blockhouses here? No, just gonna go back.
Yeah, he kills a lot of ills there. This whole game, British... sorry, Russia... ignore that point.
Okay.
We'll call that AoE stop.
But yeah, I mean, that raid was just painful for Russia now. Gonna have to come back again from that 50 villager gap he had earlier, you know, because of that raid. So... still looking very solid for Risi. He just needs to win a fight, you know, that's what I was saying.
That's all he needs to do, win one fight, yeah.
Risi is just not able to win fights against WickedCossack, apparently, despite in game 1 he didn't win a fight, he actually just sieged down the TC, right? But he just didn't win a single fight in this series, I think.
Falconet is denied. There was one in queue at the artillery foundry, but not going to be produced. It looks like British is doing okay though. Like he does have more eco, and his musketeers are just so solid that he's able to keep pushing back here. Veteran Strelets are in, but they're not like skirmishers. Like if he had Brits is really fortunate in this position because their musketeers are just so good, and the Strelets don't have really the range to be like to make musketeers bad. So the musks are still very relevant.
They do have the yeah, that's true for sure. But they do have boss Street at Combat and Baja, so they are very strong, even more upgraded than the British ones for sure. But then again, yeah, it's still like if you get not enough streetlets, that really aggressive map control from Risi here, and yeah, Brits is just always in a good spot in this game, but he needs to get like enough of a convincing lead to just finish it.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of thinking that, I don't know, this is so even. I kind of expected Risi to win by now, and even the score out to 2-2. And as much as I love WickedCossack, he's a great friend of mine, I'm kind of hoping Risi can find a way to win it, just to make the series 2-2. I just love seeing, close series like that. But he is going to now sneak in the final stagecoach here at the 28-minute mark, and there is certainly that.
But I think Risi will win, but it might take some time because he's just playing really carefully, a bit too carefully. But that's understandable because it's a tournament. But sometimes you have to just do it, just go in and take the fight. Because if he keeps just running, it's gonna take forever.
Yeah. Where's the artillery foundry? It's over here. He's got 2 falconets in queue, which is kind of what he needs. Falx is really helpful at this point, but he's bleeding out houses at this point. British just taking the opportunity to do as much damage as he can here.
And British now out. 8 villages for Brit, so he's even more ahead in it. Although now that WickedCossack has a straight TP stagecoach, it's a bit mitigating that eco gap. So I'm not sure. Like I could see WickedCossack winning this game at some point, but it's definitely still quite Risi favored. But he needs to do something, like he's just so scared. And when you wait too much, this happens. Like you just start like Russia just being Russia and sending Opries, just like spamming units for free because their units are so.
They do get caught though.
So cheap. Yeah, he did get caught. That's
Prishnik's so like 23 times 3 versus the villagers there, and 6 of Prishniks are arriving as a shipment as well. Just now, where are they at? Let's see if we can find them on the map. But Oprishnik's running around is so dangerous, right? Like, having Vils on these kind of mines, like, I think at this point, like, Oprishniks are out, you almost just build outposts on absolutely everything you're gathering from, or perhaps just go home and start building mills and plantations. But that's exactly what Russia wants you to do. Here they are, 6
And he's got more of them on the way, but there's a... Okay, no. Now it's...
they're affected by boyars as well. I guess I never really think about that, because you so rarely see...
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's doing a good job with his cav. He is catching them all up.
Really strong. Like, operas can get upgraded a lot, but it's not really relevant in fights, but they do have insane siege and insane attack against villages when they get these upgrades in. But anyway, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I like this a lot. He's building walls, and that's just such a good response to the Oprishniks. Just, like, make your villages safe, because Oprishniks can just clean you up so fast. But second TC coming in from Russia on this side here. There's 1,000 gold and some berries that he can claim.
Yeah. So if he can get away with that and train more Vils, he will outscale Brits at some point. So again, Risi needs to make something happen and stop like sitting. The walls are nice against operas for sure, but you can't just sit there behind these walls and just wait. You have to make something happen at the same time. He needs to just push now.
Looks like
not too much.
Risi's teching into longbows now, veteran longbow in, and he's got the arsenal as well. Let's take a look at TBR. Infantry breastplate coming in, so he recognizes it's time for perhaps a unit switch to add to his composition. But this is looking like a scary push from Russia. There's a lot of Falks there.
Risi is out of gold, so that's why he's switching to longbows. Now he sneaked a few wheels here, but they're gonna die most likely. So then he has to make longbows because he doesn't have any gold. But like longbows, when WickedCossack has a bunch of falconets, so I don't know. He kind of needed to keep some gold to make some coverings.
Is he just gonna?
Needed coverings. Like I don't know if he can take that fight. Like 5 falconets is a lot. And plus, he has a really bad unit positioning now. Just forgetting some musketeers, sending the longbows alone, and the hussars on the side next to the musketeers, like next to the Russian musketeers. He does pick up 3 falconets though, but still 2 alive. Most of them are dead. Okay,
yeah, he gets the Falks down. Maybe he can disengage now from the fight.
Yeah, because that's a good trade for WickedCossack here.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
Risi was on 200 pop, and now Wicked, his operas are getting caught, but he did kill a few Vils, I guess. And now, what do we have here? Same eco, if you take the stagecoach into account. It's roughly the same eco. And Russia has also kind of the same military. So now it's a rather even game, and Russia also having a second TC. So, Risi is maybe just throwing the game here. He needed 2 coverings, probably.
He doesn't have a foundry. Let's take a look at... no, it's probably a military unit. It's probably not even a military unit. I can't even see if he has a... There's no way to know on the UI if he has a foundry or not. I guess we just have to look around on the map.
You can see it on all units, but there's probably too many units to see it.
There's an all units tab?
Yeah, all units just shows also.
He doesn't have a foundry by the looks of it.
Nah. He's out of gold now. It's kind of too late to make artillery, but he needed to anticipate that.
He's got some gold, not very much, but...
Yeah, he has that, and it's not very safe. It's just next to the trading post and the stagecoach, so they could just die. I don't know. Wicked is just like, he has already 1 plantation. That is going to be an advantage.
2
plantations, but my bad. So while Brits don't have gold, so he's going to be making only longbows for now.
But it looks like Brits does have refrigeration and all of the food upgrades for mills. Russia, however, they don't have refrigeration, but they do have eco theory, which is probably just as good because it benefits the plantations. Doesn't have any of those expensive plantation upgrades just yet, but looks like there is a fight coming in here. Switching to longbow pike to handle the cav is kind of when you don't have gold. This game, you can tell, like switching to the trash unit to deal with this is a really weird game. I mean, he's got a lot of wood in bank now. I imagine he's probably looking to get a plantation of his own down, and he has got the stagecoach in the back on the other line. Well, hasn't got the stagecoach just yet. There it is. It's just come in now, so he can task those to gold for a bit of gold income as well. But the only gold left on the map is basically gone. 200 for him here, and there's 800 gold over here. If he can push his opponents back, that 800 gold will be really nice.
Yeah, definitely. Something I want to talk about is I do like these walls on the right side from Risi, like walling up the chokes.
Yeah.
But I don't like that he's setting up his eco there. It's not safe. I mean,
oh really? I was going to make the opposite position. I was going to say I really like this because there's 3 chokes. It's easier to defend 3 chokes from Oprishnik raids, but I'd like to hear your perspective then. I'm really interested to know why that's not good.
Sorry. I kind of cut you off in the end, but Opries just have roughly 100 siege at this point, so they get an EP wall very easily down. Unless Risi gets Bastion upgrade, but I don't think he will, at least not now. So it's just very risky, because even if Opries would tear through an EP wall in no time and then just go running on the mills.
Those Falcons are causing issues for the pikes.
Oh, there's a fight going on.
You're talking about walls. There's a fight.
Yeah, right.
But no anti-cav. Oh no, and he's fighting this treasure by mistake. This is really not ideal. But now there's no anti-cavalry, and these Cossacks coming forwards. Those cannons have cleaned up those pikemen, and now we're just starting to see the benefit of having so much gold, having 2 plantations, and of course the stagecoach setup. These falconets just are so impossible to deal with for British, just because, you know, infantry sucks so hard, and that's all he's able to train versus the falconers.
Yeah, I think we are witnessing Risi's throwing big times when he was ahead the whole game, but once more he was not able to win a single fight, or at least not to clean up, you know? Like he's doing okay in every fight, but never cleaning up. And at the end of the day, he's just not winning the game. And Russia comes back with Opries, with just Russia being Russia in late game, and you know, it's just looking really good for Russia now.
It is. There is a lot of range on the longbows, though. They don't have Yeoman. Oh, there it is coming in.
Oh, they do now.
Maybe he can snipe the Falcons with the Yeoman, because now the longbows have 26 range and the Falcons have 26 range, so it's the same. And
yeah, he can do that.
And but if he's like going to 360 like this, start limbering up, and yeah, he's doing a bunch of 360s. He's actually going to clean up all of the Falcons.
Cossacks,
oh my goodness! There are a lot of
Cossacks.
But he's got dragoons. Look at it. Ideal. There's dragoons in the back.
Yeah. And the
so
point
many
is that
Cossacks
Cossack is sieging down the market instead of fighting, because I think he could just be winning the fight now, but he's just sieging.
And they have cav combat on these goons as well, so they're actually quite strong, but he is going to take out a considerable number of longbow before
these goons are strong, but the Cossacks have boyas and cav combat, and they're just even better. But, you know, like, I think Russia got this if he doesn't go back, because his treadettes are so strong. Double-carded treadettes against longbows with just like more range, which doesn't matter in the fight, and just 10% HP from the arsenal. So I think Russia could have gone in, but he's going back.
Yeah,
but anyway, we can see that now. He wants to
meet up with the rest of his army in a big batch of pops. Like, he's got, what, 8 military buildings here? Maybe he just had like a bunch of pops and wanted to meet up with the army before pushing in. But Risi's still in this, and let's take a look at his plantation count. It just has the one plantation currently. They're so expensive, those buildings.
But now, like, for one of the first times in the game, I think Russia is ahead in military since a very long time. Like, he wasn't able to do that. Although now Risi is remassing. I guess it's a pretty good game, yeah.
This is such a great game. This is exceptional.
Yeah, it's a very good game. But it feels like Russia just will win eventually. I mean, having experienced that myself, it can be really frustrating, but Russia is just super strong later on.
Petards in queue for Wicked Cossack. He's got a couple of petards out here, just the 2 of them.
And Risi is going to age, so it's a good timing to do that.
I really like that. What's he got in? Yeah. He's almost got a shipment available as well, Risi. Let's take a look. 2 rockets, infinite. And this is like one of the few times in the game where I think 2 infinite rockets. Actually, I still think 3 rockets is better. because of the 2 factories he'll have to send. Like the point at which the 2 infinite rockets becomes good is like probably it's just too late in the game, right? Like 3 rockets.
Yeah,
is
yeah, kind of, yeah. It's like in this kind of game, it might be good to have the infinite ones if it keeps going and going and going, you know. But in like the vast majority of games, if you get to ship rockets, which is already not something that you do every game at all, you probably won't be shipping them again. So
he's getting the native village here for 5% all action damages to cavalry and infantry. He can increase his. And he's got the other ones are irrelevant. Let's take a look at the fight. Got pikes back on the board, so not too concerned about those Cossacks. But Strelitz, if he kites properly, those pikes could have a hard time.
But these Cossacks are so good, and the pikes are just not good. And there's so many straight ads. I think this is Russia's fight. I think Wicked Cossack is gonna make it happen here. I don't. Although it's kind of close, I guess.
Team cavalry scouts coming in, so the Cossacks get 10% more
late.
HP.
Just a bit late. And he's stacking counter-infantry rifling, so ready for more pikemen and just to snap them down with strelets. Like, imagine how bad a pikeman is at this point against a strelet.
Yeah, now the strelets do 13 times 3 versus the pikes. That's really... Okay, but this... And now he hits industrial. So Risi, I think this fight is okay for him, just because, well, he'll have his rockets soon.
It's buying time for his H4, but is he going to be able to deal with this massive streelets and from streelets? I don't know. We will see. Yeah, he's pulling back in kind of an awkward way here.
Where does he pop Where does he pop the rockets? There's some good spots behind the TC there to keep them safe.
Yeah, probably.
He needs the rockets. They'll be hit any second now. And as soon as they arrive, the thing is that there's a lot of Cossacks there, and those rockets could be really vulnerable. Come on, rockets. Where are they? Rockets! Spawn!
The really good thing for Risi is that he does
Factory!
And he could be shipping it in this tower here, where he, by the way, has waiting for him.
Oh, goodness. Ouchie.
So, yeah.
That was his age-up bonus from the Tycoon. Not using that just yet. But he's still alive, and maybe it's okay. Maybe Factory is actually... Oh, but that's a big reinforcing batch of Cossacks.
So many Cossacks. And just click on them, just see how many upgrades they're stacking, like 5 upgrades.
Yeah, Cavalry, Cuirass, Cav Combat, Boyars, Veteran Cossack, and Team Cavalry Scouts.
Like, they are more than Guard Cossacks at this point, better than H4 Cossacks, so... And these pikemen are just, like, so awkward at this point.
They are,
so we'll see, but I guess rockets are gonna be nice, but he needs to really deal with the Cossack mass.
Maybe now that he's got a factory out, the coin income won't be such an issue, and he'll be able to mass up Dragoons, which is the real counter to the Cossacks.
He's actually taking up the wood upgrade in the factory, so I guess he's going to be going on wood.
Okay, on wood.
But I think he has, well, probably enough. He did gather that 1k gold, so that's a good start.
Yeah. I like the walls here, like getting up ready. You don't want stuff walking into your base, but I would officially declare this the late game, or in fact, not the super late game, but like players now going up to the industrial age. People maxed out on 99 vils. We've got all the upgrades. We've got bookkeeping and all of these things. But something I'd like to see Risi do is tech back into the musks somehow, because he's got all of the upgrades, but he's not able to train any musks. But I guess the Strelets are just so good against them. Maybe something like...
That is also something I forgot about, but he just kind of wasted like all the early upgrades.
How do you feel about
what?
Like going Musketeer rocket like that? Maybe use the factories to generate rockets, and you can use your Musketeers to sort of defend them. That seems like quite a good composition.
Yeah, for sure. With a couple coverings, probably, because I think Wicked Cossack will be making coverings himself. But yeah, that is a good composition. I feel like he's maybe not feeling comfortable enough with his gold income to do that. He might need to make at least 1 more or 2 more plantations. But he's not doing that, so I guess he's just going to keep going local pike. And
10 villagers coming to build it.
Oh.
Wow, this game is absolutely insane. But Wicked Cossack now up to the industrial age. He ages with... the 2 Falconets, I think. I think he aged up with the Engineer.
Either 2 falconets or 7 Opries usually, but yeah, that's 2 falconets there. So
Yeah, and this doesn't look good. He's gonna have to get back, right? Like 2 Falcons is.
I don't know. 2 Falcons gonna help, and he's got so many Cossacks, and most of his guard upgrades coming in.
No, I mean for British. It's not good for British.
Oh yeah, right. He has to go back, I think.
He's gonna go back. That second factory is now out though, and he is tacking. He's taking steam power, so that's the gold upgrade.
Yeah, and the Cossacks have more attack than the Hussars, although they are god Cossacks. But yeah, the stats on these Cossacks are just insane.
God, this is so many times I've thought this is Russia about to win the game, but I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah, I think now it really is because he's got really like
Guard Dragoon though,
upgraded units.
And Guard
Dragoon's coming in clutch. And now it's probably gonna be a very long game.
But like, this is a great game. I'm really pleased with this.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like Russia is probably not gonna win here. Like he's gonna get a good fight, but I think the goons will just clean up the Cossacks and.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty good goons. They've got Cav Combat and Dragoon and Cav HP, and they're Guard Dragoons with ranged cavalry cuirass. And he's got the Yoga upgrade as well, which is going to give the Cav 5% more attack.
Yeah, but he does well. If you look at the military now, it's 80 to almost nothing. But now he's popping more goons.
Yeah. And 2 rockets will surely be his next shipment.
Too many goons. He needs also something to deal with the Strelets here. So
yeah. And then the answer to the Strelets is rockets, but he doesn't want to make any.
Yeah, and also Wicked has 2 coverings, so.
Oh, that's true. That's kind of awkward.
It would be like it would be tricky, but I think we might see the end of it. In fact, the one time where I say it's not GG, it's gonna be GG.
Yeah.
But,
oh god.
Like this looks just so scary.
This looks really tough now. He's standing on top of the plantation, but big pop of. But that's gonna swing it. Big pop of Hussar. This game is so back and forth. And these Huss, they're not guard though. They're not guard Hussar, but they do have good stats from the upgrades. But mind you, every unit is upgraded with cards at this point, so who cares? He's gonna find a couple of Hussars on top of the artillery though. But you know, guard or not, they are gonna swing it. But reinforcing batch of Strelets and Cossacks.
Yeah, with the extra Cossacks, it's gonna be close.
We're going to see 2 rockets appear any moment now from the British player. But Industrial Revolution coming in for Russia. They're going to get their factory down. And another big batch of...
Hey, we might just see the Infinite Rockets card being good here.
Yeah, Infinite Rockets like actually... I take it back. Infinite Rockets is now considerably better than 3 rockets. It's at the 50-minute mark, guys. If you get to that point, 2 rockets, infinite better is better than 3 rockets.
Right. Well, even now it's still worse because he has 1 less rocket.
Oh, that's true. So he needs to send it again. Then it's better. Right. So we figured it out. It's probably like the 55-minute mark. That's when it's good.
Yeah.
How do you feel about at this point getting the Sufi? They've got a villager build limit change. And so you can get 15 fattened goats from the pilgrimage upgrade.
I think whenever you reach like 30 minutes, it's very, very good to get the Sufi because you get the goats. So it just pays off for the trading post and for the upgrade very easily. Just
whenever I cast with Maito, he gets so upset about no one going for Sufi. Like, there's 15 goats in there, guys, and 10 extra villages you can train. And also, there's basically eco theory for 200 wood and 200 gold. That's a really strong
but that one is risky, right? Let me check.
Oh yeah, it reduces your Vil HP. That's right.
It reduces by a lot. So instead of having 200 HP on your Vils, you end up having like 130. And maybe against Russia, you don't want to do that because of upgrades. But the 2 other upgrades are good for sure.
What a game, man. This is nuts. And this is not looking good now for Russia because look at these two mills. They're so far forward, and the British is kind of on top of him. And Wicked Cossack, he's stacking a lot of food there. It feels like, his factory's coming out later than his opponents, and as a result, he's just sort of, or is it because he's got loads of artillery in queue? I don't know. Maybe both. But he's got a lot of food and not much gold. And at this point in the game, it can be really hard to balance your food and gold income just because plantations are so expensive.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to macro at this point.
But
I hope Wicked would maybe run a bit more.
Oh no! Look at the two rockets. The two rockets. Oh dear. Oh god. No.
He's gonna get some value out of them by killing Cossacks, but definitely a good trade for Russia here.
Oh dear, that kind of sucks. That's awkward. But look at this, Honored Tiger Claw coming in as well. He's at 200 pop, so it makes sense to be adding in extra units that you wouldn't normally be able to get. Trying to build a wall, but that's going to go down. And now suddenly without those rockets, I'm kind of feeling back in Russia again. Look at this, all the wood gone, and now people starting to come into the middle of the map for wood.
Yeah, that's also going to be a problem at some point. Deccan is known to have not too much wood, like in Treaty, you know that. But anyway, there's a fight. Musketeers from Wicked not being upgraded, and I'm not sure why you would want to make Musketeers anyway at this point as Russia, because Cavalchers are just better.
Well, he wants to spend his food down.
And...
Like I said earlier, he's got tons of food, right, but not much gold, and Musketeers cost exactly that.
I guess, yeah, but Cavalchers also cost a lot of food, so...
Okay, fair.
Although they do cost a bit more gold than Russian Musketeers, but... Yeah, well...
going down for the British.
Yeah, that's just so late game stuff. Also, Risi adding a lot of walls in the middle of the map, and now finally we have Wicked raiding on the right side, but well, Opries are of course better at doing that. But still, it's going to be very annoying for Brits here.
This is such a good card to have at this point now. Like, imagine, like, as like, Russia just doesn't have that same thing. They got the, like, now, like, all Russia can send is, like, crappy Age 3 and Age 2 stuff, but every time British gets a shipment, they can send 2 rockets, which is so much value. They're just, it's not quite like sending 2 rockets infinitely.
Russia still has Advanced Arsenal, which is a very good card at this point. And his second factory? Oh, wow, he still didn't have that. Okay.
Has that just come in? I guess the XP curves are so slow, but yeah, second factory now in for... Oh, it looks like 109 economic unit population. I thought for a moment he had more than 99 vills, but it's actually the factory. God, I really hope someone builds the Sufi Mosque. That's such a strong thing to get at this point. Look at this, though. Tiger Claws coming forward to raid the wood villages.
Oh, and we have Risi clicking into Imperial. It's officially treaty now.
Officially treaty. Without all of the upgrades, yeah.
Yeah, they will probably soon get the Bastion upgrade as well. Because, like, if, let's say WickedCossack starts sending Opries on the right side, then Risi is gonna get the upgraded walls. And then it's gonna be a really treaty. Yeah, Rocket died, and just so many Dragoons here, kind of countering everything from Russia.
Yeah, and Risi's...
Yeah,
Risi could start, like, look at his food count and gold count. I think this is a perfect time to switch back into Musketeers.
Yeah, he could do that as well. But he's doing
he still needs the upgrade for the Musks.
These Cavalchos are very strong.
Yeah.
But the British Guns are super strong as well, and the Ruskets are kind of the only bad unit here. Like, the Russian Musketeers at this point are really not good. Yeah. So, Risi is gonna get away with aging. He's gonna pull back a little bit, but he can remass just a bunch of whatever unit and just be okay here, I think.
I really like this, though. I mean, well, not the fact that he's clearing up, but the fact that he's got the Oprishniks. They're going to tear through walls. I'd love to see him go straight over here and just, like, batter a hole in the wall and, like, scare all these mill villagers away. But he is adding in a town centre, so at least he's got a garrison point. Back to the fight, though. One horse artillery fighting the Ruskets.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be nice behind the wall.
And now guard longbowmen. And up to Imperial, so as soon as we start seeing the... I mean, Cossack has to go all out here. Cossack just cannot afford to let off the pressure, because the second he lets off the pressure, British will get those Imperial upgrades, and then it's just GG. You cannot compete with an upgrade that gives you 50% attack and hit points, so Like, Wicked Cossack has to do everything in his power now to stop that from happening. But look at this, Oprishnik's running him ragged in his base, and we see more Oprishniks coming up the side here. So this is really nice for Russia. That's exactly what he needs to do to stop British from... keep him occupied and keep the fight, keep the pressure up. And in fact, the Imperial Age might well be a bad thing for him, because he spent all those resources not on military. Mind you, it was at 200 pop, so I guess that's not true.
But I think Risi did overall a decent job at catching the upper east, so he's gonna be okay. However, he does forget about his dragoons here, which is a little bit painful. But look at this mass from Risi. Now he's gonna probably just win it, right? I mean, like, he's got so much more than Russia, and he's H5, and all he needs to do now is get Imperial dragoons and just like go and just fight. I hope he's not going to be getting the capital upgrades first. They are really nice upgrades for your gathering, but you need first to get at least one Imperial unit, I think. And if he can get Imperial goons, he's going to be in a very solid spot.
Yeah. Let's put on text being researched. No Imperial upgrades coming in just yet, but Wicked Cossack is researching the Imperial Age. So Wicked Cossack going to follow him up, and maybe that's what he needs.
Yeah, there's going to be a window for Risi to do damage, though. He's got 2 rockets and Imperial goons on the way, and there's not going to be too much for Russia to defend that. He's not really... I think he's massing because he's close to 200 pop, but he has only 60 units on the field, so there's going to be something...
Blue has remembered the Sufi Mosque.
Oh, yeah.
But he won't be able to build it. Look, the rockets and the goons coming forward... God, rockets are so good at this point. This is like the first game in history where 2 rockets is... where I've seen 2 rockets being better than 3 rockets.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, I guess they...
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Such a long game,
Up to Cossack, I guess. If it's quick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I could understand someone needing to go into the toilets or whatever after 1 hour of playing.
Yeah, it's 55 minutes in. Does this happen in treaty games, or do the treaty weirdos like have bottles and stuff to pee in? I don't know.
Well, I guess, yeah, when you play a treaty game, you get kind of ready for it. You know it's going to be long, but when you just green up into a sub game, maybe you're just not, like...
That's fair.
So ready.
That's fair.
But that's a really, really close game.
Yeah, this is
and
insane, right?
Did you remember earlier on when I said Risi needs to use his advantage now to finish it, because if you keep waiting, Russia it's just going to stretch late game and Russia is going to catch up. And now we have this, right? I feel like Risi could have won 40 minutes ago. And now he might still win, but it's just much closer than before.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Oh, wow. Let's show the Civ selection screen briefly as well, because I want to look at the Civs that they've had access to. So Risi still has Russia to play with, which is, if he wins this game, he could play his next game as Russia on High Plains if he wanted to, and it's clearly a Civ that he likes playing and enjoys playing. But having said that, Cossack also still has India available, which is his by far strongest civilization. So there is that. I'm really interested to see what will happen on High Plains. Of course, British has to win this to even it out to 2-2, but they're still pretty open, I think, and I'd be very interested to see how that goes. But this looks like Risi is taking a bit of a break, go to the toilet, that kind of thing. Maybe I should have done that. My goodness, how are you holding up?
Yeah, I could have gone as well during the break, to be honest, but I just felt like I would keep on casting, and then, well, let's just hope the game is done. I hope I don't need to wait another hour. I might have to take a break.
Yeah, I don't think it will take another hour, right? Like, I wonder what the longest Supremacy game in that has ever been is. That's interesting.
I've played myself, the longest I've played in SUP was a 1 hour and 15 long game, and that was actually against Azam, and it's uploaded on my YouTube channel. It was a crazy game.
Oh wow, okay. Maybe we can link that in the chat. I'd like to, I want to watch that later on.
Yeah, sure, I can send it to you.
It's alright, I imagine someone in the office can find it if they just search Kaiserklein.
Oh, okay, yeah. But my point was that I've never seen myself longer than that game I played in SUP. I never seen more than 1 hour
1v1,
15.
right?
Yeah, of course, in team I've seen it few times already, but
Yeah.
in 1v1 I never seen more than 1 hour 15, and we'll see if this game
This
can
is
break
awkward.
that.
There's a couple.
That
This is,
personal record.
he's pushing in with Imperial Dragoons, and Cossacks only just now hitting the. Okay, heavy cannon. He aged up with 12 musks and a heavy cannon. Oh, that's really clever.
Yeah.
I really like that. Usually you go with 2 gold just to make the upgrades much easier to get, but in this particular game, he really needs that extra batch of units just to hold. So actually, that's really clever.
Yeah.
Aging up with the I've never really thought of it as a good politician, but aging up with the general rather than the El Presidente.
Yeah.
But
It's nice
Imperial
sometimes,
Dragoons are
but
very
all-
very strong against artillery and rip heavy cannon.
Yeah, well, okay, so Risi is raiding on the left and on the right a little bit. He killed the first. And the good thing about the 2k gold is that you need a lot of gold when you're H5 to get your capital upgrades and your Imperial upgrades on your units. So I think the 2k gold is better, but here it can help holding for sure. And he kind of needed it, so yeah, I think it was good. Now though...
I think he's getting Imperial Tatar Loyalist in, but he doesn't really have any Imperial Tatar Loyalists to upgrade. But, this is a very strong upgrade for Russia. We have got 622 hit points on a unit now. That's absolutely ridiculous, and 30 ranged attack as well.
Yeah, right. Well, that... I don't know... I don't know why he upgraded to Imperial. He's... Kavachas, maybe he's just gonna be training more of them now.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if any of these
2 heavy
players
cannons.
have the fast training tax from the church. Is very important at this point. You need to be flexible, be able to pop lots of units really quick. But I don't think they have the church upgrades to train units faster, so that's a bit... Oh,
the British
Risi
does,
but not
yeah.
Wicked. Not Wicked, so...
Yeah.
Wicked not gonna be able to be super reactive here with his military buildings.
Yeah. And
the
the
rockets.
Tatars being split off to kill off the rockets. That's really nice. Just sort of being left there. But still, the trading post left abandoned, and the Sufi have some exceptional upgrades in there. 15 fattened goats and the villager population limit. 10 extra vills could be really, really helpful.
Yeah, the goats are probably not too relevant now because they have insane eco. But it's kind of like a middle game thing you get when you run out of hunts and you just pop a bunch of goats. It's really strong. But yeah, the other upgrade, whatever, yeah, the extra villages could be nice.
That's right. But
then again, as Russia,
deforestation-
that's the big wood upgrade, I guess.
Yeah, deforestation coming in and excessive taxation as well. So both players getting their capital upgrades at this point to sustain super late game. But there's not a lot of wood left. Let's take a look. The only wood left on the map is on in the center here. There's a few. Risi is gathering from it. 2 heavy cannons. Not going to be super good against dragoons, but except that guy. 2 rockets coming in though. God, he sent. That's such a good shipment. And now the Strelet's going to have to get back.
Yeah. The shipment is paying off for sure here. WickedCossack is just a bit late on everything in this game. He's always in an okay spot, but always behind Risi, just aging later than him, and shipping his factories later, everything. And now, I don't... Man, this could be such a long game. I mean, I don't know if one of these are going to be able to get a commanding lead anytime soon. So,
Imperial.
and now we do have Bastion
Strelets.
upgrades on both sides. So.
Imperial
Sorry.
Strelets coming in. These are going to be perhaps the most efficient unit to mankind. Let's take a look at their stats when they're in. Going from 16 ranged attack and 149 hit points to 21 ranged attack and 193 hit points. I like the fact that Risi is on top of creating Tiger Claws, just on top of it, adding extra units in on top of his 200 pop.
Yeah, that's definitely good. I don't know if Russia is going to be able to win that. He's just always on the back foot here, but always holding at the same time. I don't really know what to say anymore about that game, to be honest.
It's fine. It gets to that point, and
right.
the insights you can make are sort of gone because it's just like a big war of attrition at this point. We can only do color commentary. Looks like where you say people are pushing in and pushing back, and what can you do? Oh, Rogers Rangers. No, mass cavalry. Sorry, it looked like I was like, what the hell? How did he have advanced church?
Yeah, he doesn't have the church card in deck, so he couldn't do that. And finally, Advanced Arsenal coming in for Russia, so he could get really insane 3-dets.
We could talk
Like,
about
crazy 3-dets. Yeah.
things that we would like to see. Like, this fight is sort of back and forth constantly. We'd like to see the Sufi Mosque. We'd like to see Aprishnik raids trying to, like, batter down these walls, although that'd be really hard now with Bastion. I'd like to see the train upgrade on that particular trade route.
Yeah, it probably pays off at some point. It's very slow, but it should pay off eventually. And since it's such a long game, the train is good, yeah. Yeah, but now Risi, for the first time, put close to the Russian eco. Literally, I think the first time in the game that he's actually getting close to pushing the eco of Wicked Cossack there. And he does need forward military buildings, but just as I'm saying it, he's dropping down a front stable. Need a little bit more than one building, but if he can start like FBing here, it could be tricky for Russia. But he now getting pushed back. Russia might deny the stable because there's so much walking time for Risi here. It gives a bit of a window to Wicked Cossack to defend, and he's bringing in a bunch of hussars, but there's just so many Kavachas.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to make much ground, are they? And I kind of like having the Cav Archers in front. It's so unusual to see that, but they have so many hit points and a 30% melee resist that you do sort of want them in front, which is sort of atypical to your traditional, goon skirm, how you would normally fight with them.
It depends, like, on how many hussars there's on the outside, but when there's so many, yeah, you definitely want them to be shielding your ranged infantry. When there's fewer hussars, then you can just have them in the back, I guess, but here, yeah, doing a good job. Like, these Kavachas are super strong. It's actually a good unit, even if
Flintlock coming in,
really like
so
them.
Wicked Cossack finally gotten Advanced Arsenal at 60 minutes. Flintlock going to give Strelets 15% extra attack. And paper cartridges coming in as well. The Strelets getting even more efficient.
Yeah, they're gonna be really insane. I don't know, man. It's
you're so used to be able to say stuff. You've just ran out of things to say.
Yeah, I mean, they're just fighting constantly. You know, it's like tricky a bit.
Yeah, it is kind of coming down to the war of attrition, and actually, Wicked Cossack is
out
winning
of
there.
gold.
Yeah, he's out of coins, so it's going to be so hard to keep making units. In fact, he's out of wood as well, so like it's not even like he can make longbows to deal with the Cav Archers.
Wow. He kind of needs to make musketeers now, but he doesn't have the upgrades for them, I think. Not the Imperial one, at least.
Doesn't have Imperial. Like, I'd really like to have seen musketeers a lot more. It seems like they're quite good against Russia.
Yeah, but really, these traders now would really tear through musketeers with counter-infantry rifling. But he kind of has to make them just because he doesn't have... He has the macro for musketeers now. And he needs to stop making these tiger claws, because they are nice when you have 200 pop and you're stacking resources and you don't know what to do with your resources. But when you're short on resources like now, you don't want to be training these gnats because they're not super strong.
Yeah, the gnat's not very good at this point. And looks like the Sufi Mosque is now done as well, actually, finally, for Cossack. And it is going to research fasting, so it's going to have even stronger villies at this point. Going to have much faster gather rate. And he's also getting Sufi discipline training as well.
Look at the shipment sent. It's really like treaty. Like, you see the infinite shipment being spammed over and over again. I don't know when was the last time I saw that.
Supremacy. And Risi now out of food as well. And I think that's going to be... the war of attrition has happened.
Yeah. And he's making so many hussars now, but I don't know why. There's mainly Kavachers. And he really doesn't want to be, like, wasting his gold in food at this point because he's so low on resources. So please just stop making hussars, Risi, or you lose this game now.
What would you make here?
Yeah, just longbows, musketeers, anything that counters...
This stuff.
The Kavachas.
The thing is, like, like AoE3 players, when you get to this super late game, they just don't have as much experience because we're so used to those timing and like really precise gameplay like in the early game, right? When you get here, like I think this is where like a treaty player, so like Conqueror, would be very, very strong. Like he would just be able to react so nicely. He'd be raiding constantly on all different sides. He'd have all sorts of like, he'd be doing everything you could expect and everything you'd want to see. He'd be doing it. But Risi and Wicked Cossack, they're much more experienced in that sort of colonial fortress industrial age. When you get to this super late game, I would expect to see a lot more from Conqueror, but still, win because eco card. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like do Russia just scale better? They got eco theory, they got royal mints and refrigeration. That could well be why Cossack's doing so well. Let's take a look at here, but having the British. Yeah, the British don't have Royal Mint or Eco Theory, so like Russia just have a much better eco because of the cards that they have in their deck, and that just Russia does outscale British in the late game, and that's like a decision you have to make when building your deck here. And look, Cossack has 3 shipments available. He's not sending any because they're just like, well, who cares? They're just so pointless at this point.
You can ship crates though, because crates don't take pop space. So if you ship like 1k wood, 700 wood, 600 wood, 700 gold, it's quite a lot of resources, even at this point, to be honest.
Okay, well, he should send them for sure. But,
right.
Surprisingly, British still in this and still okay. And actually, his resource pile is starting to get back up again. Having said that, he's just queued a bunch of units and his food's dropped down. But he's hanging in here. But really, not having refrigeration and eco theory. Well, British don't get eco theory. It's just not a card that they have. This is a really troublesome point for him. Like you were saying, you sort of have to end the game earlier. You can't let it get to this point.
Oh man, it's insane. 2 more rockets coming in for Risi. That shipment, like even upgrading to Imperial because it's just like shipping so many rockets. That it's actually worth upgrading them. I don't know when was the last time I saw Imperial rockets either. But like, man, I think Risi is gonna lose it eventually. Like he's not very close to 200 pop now. And he doesn't have much in the bank, and like Wicked is just winning ground slowly but surely, and he did set up some side stables here, so he can just start spamming upgrades anytime.
Let's take a look at units in queue. No Appreciationics just yet. 2 cavalry archers in. Well, he's and
I think
British.
He can just fine pushing with his main army because he's winning the fight. But if he starts losing and getting pushed back, he might just be switching to upgrades on the side. But there's a decent raid here for Risi. These mills are not in the best spot, like there's still space for mills behind the walls, I think. He should just rebuild the mills behind the walls.
Yeah, and they have fasting, those villages, so they're actually quite weak.
At this point though, just look at that. I mean, this way, like Risi has less military in the fight because of that, and he's killing mills so Russia can make more. But yeah, that's a GG.
And Risi, he does have a lot of resources left now, but that's just because he hasn't trained units for a couple of moments. But Wicked Cossack does pick up the series 3-0. What a long game. What a brilliant game. I've never seen a game go on for... Actually, I have. It was a Kinesi game. But a land map. Oh, wow. 3... Yeah. I don't know what... Yeah, I think... Yeah, but it was not this. That's exactly it, Cossack. But hot damn, what a series. I was kind of... I mean, more power to Wicked Cossack, and I'm really pleased that he won a bit. But I would like to have seen the equalizer and then the final game.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't really have words for this series. It was really, like Wicked Cossack said, a strange series a bit, but a good series for sure.
Yeah, a very good series.
That was very entertaining, and I think that's the longest game ever casted on in an ESOC or Escape tournament in Jeff on PS3, right? I mean... I don't think we've seen 1 hour 8 before.
I think we've seen some Indochina games go on quite long between like Kinesi and Azamp, but a land map. Maybe. Oh, that was really fun. I've seen like an Azamp Bonen game go on for 2 hours game time, which is
but I meant like in a tournament. You know,
in a
like
tournament. Yeah, that's
something
fair.
Casted like.
But look how many rockets he sent.
Have you ever casted yourself something that long?
No.
No, I haven't.
Not in
either.
a tournament. That was when you signed up to, when you volunteered to cast with me, maybe you didn't expect this to happen, but I think it was worth it. That was absolutely brilliant. Let's take a look at the post game before we. I don't know what really I'm looking for, but you can just see actually Risi further ahead in eco, sort of the whole game. I guess he just for the whole up until the Industrial Age, and when he clicked up to the Imperial Age, he just had sort of more villagers the whole game. It was only WickedCossack caught up. I think if this graph continued, Cossack would close the gap.
Yeah, but, he would at some point, but he was just so much behind earlier on. When you look at this, it looks like the eco was close earlier, right? That they had the same resources, but in fact it's not. It's just because the scale of the graph is so big, you know. Yeah. But if you check the resources earlier, when they were H3, aging up to H3, it was a gap of 7K.
Yeah, that's huge. That's absolutely
it's
huge.
20%, 25% more resources for Risi. So Risi was really ahead so much, and he was also ahead in military early most of the game, and he just was not able to get a convincing lead. He did almost clean up Russia twice early in the early game, early at 18 and 25 minutes, which is not really early, but yeah. But he was not able to snowball it really into a win, and I was afraid of that at some point earlier, and he just did that mistake to give way too much time to Russia.
Yeah, but what a great game, and that's the assessment from Kaiserklein and myself. Let's take a look at the highlights of this absolutely brilliant series. What an exceptional series. 3-1 to Cossack. Let's take a look. Cossack can do. He's the one playing Russia. Cossack's now coming in. Will they find some villagers to kill? No, he's bringing back the ones on the elephants. He's going to be able to get them in his base there, but he is going to take a shot with his musketeers. Look at that villager. Is it going to go down? Yes, the musketeers and Cossacks do manage to pick it off, and there is an explorer as well that he'll be able to kill. 45 XP and deny scouting there.
Now it's going to be very tough for him to hold that. I mean, he went so all in on unit shipments.
Oh no, it died!
Denying the TP, yeah. But to be honest, I think that's okay. I mean, he's on 23 villas at 9 minutes. He has to have been skipping villages. So now he's kind of the follow-up sucks a bit for WickedCossack here, and I don't know if he's gonna have enough stuff to defend now. We have the fight.
There's a lot of British musketeers there, and he's got a few strelets in there, but they're so weak. I mean, they're very good against muskets, but there's quite a lot of red muskets here, and I think. Having said that, though, most of the cav gone down, so maybe these strelets are okay.
One Hussar coming in for Risi. Imagine a batch of 5 at this point, and he does have quite a lot of resources in the bank.
Yeah, he must have skipped a batch.
Cure the map.
I love this from Risi as well. Yeah. He noticed the stagecoach. Well, he noticed rather that the trading post was something Cossack was building, and it goes down to deny the final one there.
Well, Wicked has upgraded stuff, and Risi doesn't, so I don't think he will do too much damage, though. Risi is gonna get falconets himself, and then he will be fine, most likely.
Oh, well, big rage.
Oh.
Rip. That guy got...
Oh, wow.
Absolutely nailed by the, as Zach would say, by the cannons. Artillery foundry going down.
That's
absolutely
disgusting.
Nuts, yeah.
It's an H4 musketeer at this point. But
yeah,
he still needs to kill the falconets.
Even with the Falks, this fight looks so good for Brits. It's...
Yeah. Let's see if he can kill them, the Russian falconets. At the same time, WickedCossack is training 2 culverins because he expected Brits to have falconets, so he's gonna have 2 useless units there. His own falconets are dead, and that is not looking good for him because these British musketeers are just way stronger than the blue ones.
Yeah, I wonder if he should have made 2 more falconets rather than 2 culverins, because 4 falconets probably wins the Falk War, and falconets are just more versatile than culves. And imagine what 2 extra falks would do in this fight. Although it could be risky with all those cavs running around, but those 2 culves are just sitting there. There's no areas. I think he
Does he
sees them.
assist now?
4 Falconets coming out, though. This is really strong. That's a lot of Falcons. He does take one off pretty quick because they're in range. But 4 Falcons is going to clean up pretty quick. They've got a lot of ranged resist here, though. There's 2 Falconets coming in from the side there, but the Culverins are going to be able to deal with that. Actually, the Falcons not doing as much damage as I thought they would. They just spawned too close to the muskets, and that's an issue. But does manage to take one of the Falcons out. Very low HP on that other one there. And I think actually Risi, despite that pop, still has this fight here.
Yeah, but
Is he just gonna...
He did coverings. Like, I don't know if he can take that fight. Like, 5 Falconets is a lot. And plus, he has a really bad unit positioning now. Just forgetting some Musketeers, sending the longbows alone, and the Hussars on the side next to the Musketeers, like next to the Russian Musketeers. He does pick up 3 Falconets though, but still 2 alive. Most of them are dead. Okay,
yeah, he gets the Falcons down. Maybe he can, like, disengage now from the fight.
Yeah, because that's a good trade for Wicked Cossack here.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
Risi was on 200 pop, and now Wicked, well, his operas are getting caught, but he did kill.
And
Yeah, he can do that.
And
but
if he's like going to
never a really
360
good
like
fight.
this, start limbering up, and yeah, he's doing a bunch of 360s. He's actually going to clean up all of the Falcons.
Cossacks,
Oh my goodness!
though,
There
look
are
at
a lot
these
of Cossacks.
They are
But he's got
H4.
Dragoons, look at it! Ideal! There's Dragoons in the back.
Yeah. And
there's
the
so
point
many
is that
Cossacks
Wicked Cossack
getting-
is sieging down the market instead of fighting, because I think he could just be winning the fight now, but he's just sieging.
And they have cav combat on these goons as well, so they're actually quite strong, but he is going to
Yeah.
take out a considerable number of longbow before
These
they
goons
go
are
down.
strong, but the Cossacks have Boyas and Cav combat, and they're just even better. But, you know, like, I think Russia got this if he doesn't go back, because his treadettes are so strong. Double-carded treadettes against longbows with just, like, more range, which doesn't matter in the fight, and just 10% HP from the arsenal. So I think the really good thing for Risi is that he does have factory, and he could be shipping it in this tower here, where he, by the way, has waiting for him.
Oh, goodness.
So,
Ouchie.
yeah,
That was his age-up bonus from the Tycoon.
yeah.
Not using that just yet. But he's still alive, and maybe it's okay. Maybe Factory is actually... Oh, but that's a big
Oh my
batch of
God.
Cossacks.
So many Cossacks, and just click on them, just see how many upgrades they're stacking, like 5 upgrades.
Yeah, Cavalry, Cuirass, Cav Combat, Boyars, Veteran Cossack, and Team Cavalry Scouts, Plantation. But big pop of... But that's gonna swing it. Big pop of Hussar. This game is so back and forth. And these Huss, they're not guard though. They're not guard Hussar,
Yeah,
but
they're not guard.
they do have good stats from the upgrades. But mind you, every unit is upgraded with cards at this point, so who cares? He's gonna find a couple of Hussars on top of the artillery though. But you know, guard or not, they are gonna swing it. But reinforcing batch of Strelets and Cossacks.
Yeah, with the extra Cossacks, it's gonna be close.
We're going to see 2 rockets appear any moment now from the British player. But Industrial Revolution coming in for Russia. They're going to get their factory down. And another big batch of...
Wicked would maybe run a bit more.
Oh no,
often
look at the
on
2
right
rockets.
side.
The 2 rockets. Oh dear.
Uh,
Oh god. No.
He's gonna get some value out of them by killing Cossacks, but definitely a good trade for Russia here.
Yeah, and
I
let
think
British...
he can just find pushing with his main army because he's winning the fight, but if he starts losing and getting pushed back, he might just be switching to operas on the side. But there's a decent raid here for Risi. These vills are not in the best spot, like there's still space for mills behind the walls, I think. He should just rebuild the mills behind the walls.
Yeah, and they have fasting, those villages, so they're actually quite weak.
At this point though, just look at that. I mean, this...
We saw that yesterday. And it'd be really interesting to see who goes down, because there's still, it's not that far, right? Like, if Maito drops down, or like this match here, this could either be, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's this one. This will either be, well, either way, they'll drop to the lower bracket, but there's not that many games left, right? You can still qualify quite quickly, even if you sort of go down. You don't have to fight your way through too many people. But even this lower bracket, the matches are really, really starting to shape up. I'm very looking forward to seeing some of these matches play out, and then to see who goes up against these players that got knocked down. But let's take a look. We've got Diroga versus Azamp still to come. That will actually be on Friday at 16 GMT. We'll be casting that before our best of 9 show match for the No Walls mod in Age of Empires 2. So we'll see that first. Azamp versus Diroga. I think Diroga probably the favorite to go through, but then it'll be I Am Soldier versus perhaps one of these two. But Ace, he's pulled out crazier things. He's done. He's very solid player. But I do wonder how he will stand up his non-meta builds to someone that is very, very textbook and very, very good at executing. And Diroga, a very formidable opponent. So I'm looking forward to that. But also Lord Raphael versus Snow, looking forward to that, and Kaiserklein versus Kanisi. So these brackets looking very stacked, and all of these final games here will determine who goes through to the qualifier, to the LAN event. Who will be? So yeah, lots to play for. But yes, also the lower bracket looking very, very interesting as well. But that's it from us. I'm going to hand it over to Ham and Zach, and yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.